take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/music. ethos.com/music. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
To 95.7 The Game, to 95.7 The Game, and HD1 GMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. The best Giants talk in the Bay is on 95.7 The Game. Reaction to every pitch.
Miller throws. He got him with the fastball. Miller's pointing at all the Reds.
Every home run.
High drive. Left field. Out of here.
And every big play.
A little slow roller. Chapman. Barehand. Got it.
It's your fix for Giants baseball.
It is a dream come true, but it's a very recent dream.
The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. 95.7 The Game. Breaking news.
Oh, hello there. Welcome into the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. We can't even do the intros and say hello. We got breaking news to start the show off. The Giants, the San Francisco Giants, have traded Patrick Bailey to the Cleveland Guardians for the number 29 pick in this year's draft and left-handed pitching prospect Matt Wilkinson, or should I say Matt Tugboat Wilkinson. This broke about 40 minutes ago per Jeff Passan of ESPN, and Patrick Bailey is off to Cleveland, and the Giants are making moves after beating the Pirates 5-2 last night. Welcome back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. It is our season debut episode here. Steven Risotto and Dan Devone. Great to be here with you, Dan.
What's up, Sam? So who the hell are we going to blame now?
Oh, that's true. We're going to need a new scapegoat now for the reason why the entire offense is bad. But luckily, the rest of the Giants lineup, yesterday notwithstanding, should give us plenty of people to get mad at for offensive shortcomings here. But, yeah, I'll be honest, Dan. I'm kind of surprised by this one. I did not anticipate waking up this morning. Well, I mean, I've been woken up for a while, but I did not anticipate kicking off this show with you talking about the trade of Patrick Bailey. Here I thought we were going to come in and talk about Rafi Devers maybe heating up, the Giants getting a nice little win last night, maybe turning things around from this abysmal start to the season, but all of that goes by the wayside. And 888-957-9570. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. We take any and all Giants takes. Giants fans, a lot of you didn't want Patrick Bailey here. Now he's not here anymore. How are we feeling about this one? Yeah, Dan, this is Buster Posey. He does not sit around. He makes moves.
Yeah, I think it's another shot across the bow. He's letting everybody know that, and especially his team, that this is serious. We're not just talking about it. I think it sort of coincides with what happened earlier this week with bringing up Bryce Eldridge and Jose Rodriguez, that this is not acceptable and that we need to make changes. And again, we're not just theoretically talking about these things, but we're actually doing them. So everybody's on notice. If you don't perform, there will be changes made. And so I think that Bailey is such a good defender, but it got to a point where he just couldn't hit major league pitching. And this isn't just this year, but it goes back to last year as well. So a fascinating conversation that Pasta and I were having beforehand was, well, the fact that his offense was highlighted as such Is it a reflection on the fact that this team couldn't hit? Like, he is supposed to be a guy that's just going to be somebody that's a defensive standout, and that you're going to be able to sort of compensate for his offensive woes with typically it's usually your corner guys. Usually it's someone at third or at first or in right or left. But in the case of San Francisco, that obviously wasn't happening.
No, you're not getting enough offense around to justify. And I do think just focusing on Bailey on his own, though, the bat, Dan, was just not good enough to keep the glove in the lineup. Like some guys, like I think Brandon Crawford's probably the poster child of this. He was a pretty good hitting shortstop towards the end of his career, but there was a time early in his career where he was a consistent 240 hitter. But the glove, though, you could not take that glove out of the lineup. That's why Crawford hit, 7th, 8th, or, later on 9th with the DH in the lineup most years until later on where he became a better offensive player. But his glove kept him in that lineup. Patrick Bailey's glove was what was keeping him in the lineup for the last few years. And the metrics will say that he's one of the better defensive catchers in baseball. But the eye test, I think, Dan, told a different story. And the play that always frustrated me the most was the relay to home plate that he just so many times could not corral. And it's just moments like that. You could talk about the pitch framing and the pitch calling and the blocking. And he was still very good throwing down to second base on stolen bases. But I think there was just a lot of just small defensive things that were starting to fade a little bit that makes it harder to ignore the offensive issues when he's a defensive first guy.
Yeah, if I'm a general manager of a baseball team, I want a catcher who is probably better defensively than he is offensively. If he can give me both, obviously that's gravy. I think the bar was so low for Patrick Bailey. Like, all he needed to do was hit, would you accept 230? Like, seriously, you talked about Crawford at 240 and you could justify that. I think for Bailey, all he needed to do was like, just give me something that's somewhat respectable. If you can hit 225 or even 235, I might be able to sell that to the bosses, so to speak. But below the Mendoza line and having it over an extended period of time just got to the point that collectively, with everything else that was going on, that it was time to go.
Yeah, Bailey hitting 146 on the season here, had 12 hits. By comparison, Jesus Rodriguez has 5 hits in 12 plate appearances. Bailey, 12 hits in 89 plate appearances. The extra base hits. Bailey had 1 extra base hit. That was a home run. Jesus Rodriguez has a home run. Eric Haas has a pair of extra base hits, and Daniel Susac has 3 extra base hits. All 3 of your backup catchers have more extra base hits than your starting catcher, despite the fact that combined Susac, 24 plate appearances, Rodriguez the 12, Eric Haas the 10. Bailey has more plate appearances on 3 than all 3 of those guys put together. Yet you can make the argument that the 3 of them put together have been more offensively productive than Patrick Bailey. Like, Dan, simply put, that's just not going to get the job done.
I have a question for you.
I might have an answer for you.
So last night, did he come in as a defensive replacement, or was it because Rodriguez got hit on the arm?
My guess, that actually would have been an interesting question to ask after the game, but my guess it was because Rodriguez took a hit by pitch to the inside of the elbow. It was like literally right on the ulnar, as our producer today, Steven Risotto, said, right on the UCL on the inside of the elbow as hold my elbow up for this
so
audio
Brock
only.
Purdy tore.
Basically, that's the phrase that Steven Risotto used. But it was right there, and at first we thought he got hit on the chest or something. Then the trainers are out there feeling the arm, and that's a part of the elbow where if you're getting hit in there, it's going to feel fuzzy for a little while. And he can still run the bases. You don't need your arm to run the bases. But I was not shocked when he came out in that situation. It made sense to bring Bailey in for the defense because Rodriguez had a chance to throw out some runners yesterday, and ooh, yikes.
Well, that's where I was going with this. If it was a defensive replacement by Vitello, and he did it as early as last night, and then he's trading the same guy that he's putting in for defensive reasons late in games, and that really wasn't even nip and tuck. I wouldn't even call last night's game. It was pretty much 5-1 before he came into the contest. So what are you saying by removing a guy that you're bringing in as a defensive replacement late in games and you trade him less than 24 hours after that? Isn't that somewhat, aren't you sort of publicly admitting that we are no longer, that it's now going to be a little bit more risky, shall we say, late in games now that we don't have that guy.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, let's peel this back a little bit. So first up, before the game in the pregame press and the pregame scrum, John Shea did ask Tony Vitello, like, is Jesus Rodriguez your top dog now at catcher? And Tony kind of basically said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that, you're going to be resting guys a little bit because they did have 3 catchers on the roster. But they want to score runs and make things less stressful on the pitchers. And Jesus Rodriguez is an offensive first catcher here, which obviously puts Bailey on the back burner there. What they're saying about Bailey, though, I think in that situation is, well, I mean, not Bailey so much, but I think what they're saying about the catching situation is you do have Daniel Susak coming back soon. We've seen what he can do with the bat. He could be back here in a few days. I think what shows right now is Eric Haas, like, you're going to have to hold down the catching position for the next few days until Susak gets back. And then I wonder if, Jesus Rodriguez and Daniel Susak, that's your catching tandem for the foreseeable future. And hopefully one of those two can kind of get established in that spot there.
I'm curious because it's really such a different position because it's almost like you're quarterbacking the club in terms of when you're talking about a catcher, you have your responsibilities aside from hitting are unlike that, I would say, of any other position player. Is that something, and again, I don't know these things, but do you have conversations with Logan Webb? Do you have conversations with Landon Roop? Because, I mean, I think back to Kershaw. Remember when A.J. Ellis was traded?
Yes.
And that was essentially his battery mate.
Mm-hmm.
And Tim Lincecum had similar relationships. So
with Benji Molina.
With Molina. If you take a guy like that out of the equation, I get the hitting part of it, but does it become disruptive as far as that rapport with pitchers?
Probably, because I do know, part of the reason Bailey was in the lineup on some days was simply because Logan Webb was on the mound and Logan liked throwing to Patrick Bailey. Understandably so. I mean, Bailey, great pitch framer. I think Bailey's stolen a lot of strikes for Logan Webb over the last few years. And Bailey does call a pretty good game behind the plate. So, yeah, pitchers can get very familiar with their catchers in that situation. But at the same time, you bring up Buster Posey. Not Buster Posey, Tim Lincecum. And Lincecum said, I remember when he won, I think it was the second Cy Young, he dedicated basically half of it to Benji Molina. He credited Benji a lot with those Cy Youngs. And I think there was some... It wasn't the smoothest of marriages, I think, when Buster and Timmy first started working together. Buster's first year and Mad Bum's first year coincided. Buster and Kane melded together pretty well. There was a little, I don't want to say friction, but it wasn't, I think Timmy had some I still want to throw to Benji in him. And it took a minute, I think, for Timmy and Buster to fully get on the same page. That's why I think that no-hitter in 2013 was such a big deal, because it felt like the culmination of Buster and Timmy finally working in unison together. This is all to say, yes, Logan Webb probably enjoyed throwing to Patrick Bailey a lot, but he's a pitcher. He might have to learn to throw to some other catchers here. Daniel Susak was a former first-round pick. He knows how to do the catching job. Jesus Rodriguez, they're trying to, they're bringing him up. I think his defense is a little underrated, but, either one of these catchers, throw in Eric Haas here, I'm sure Logan could have no problem learning how to work with them, even if he is kind of I really like throwing to Patrick Bailey.
They just need production out of that position offensively, and I think that's just sort of where we're at, is that the team is so woeful hitting the baseball that what it was, despite the last thing you want to do is lose someone like that of Patrick Bailey because of his defense at the catching position. It's not like he's a good defender at second or at first or in center, but the catching position is vital. But again, I think the bar was so low that if you just gave me 220, 230, I think we could sell it. But
no, you can't even do that.
That's 100 points, essentially more than 100 points lower than what he's hitting right now at 140. So I think it just got to a point where it's like, hey, listen, man, we need to do something.
Yeah. Well, I think it goes also a little bit deeper than that also, Dan. I wonder how much the ABS factors in on this too, because again, we know what's coming. At some point, all balls and strikes are going to be called by the ABS. It's the challenge system is only going to be here for a few years, because at some point it's going to be all robots making these calls here. And one of Patrick Bailey's biggest skill sets is pitch framing. And that skill set is going to be hindered a little bit when you can't really frame pitches in a way that fools the human being umpire. And so I wonder if the Giants are they're reading the room here and they're seeing that, what makes Patrick Bailey so special is trending towards being kind of an antiquated skill set with how technology is changing the game.
You can also flip that offensively and Patrick Bailey should know this as a catcher. So what ABS has been able to do, it makes walking easier because the strike zone, and they said this at the minor league level, guys who played at the minor league level and they were exposed to ABS, they came up to the majors and said, you know what ABS does is that it makes it a smaller strike zone. So what does that mean? What does that translate to? It means that it's easier to walk now in Major League Baseball.
Oh,
Patrick Bailey was amongst the league leaders in terms of the lowest walk rate as a hitter. So I guess I'm sort of flipping it offensively. I know we're talking about his defensive metrics, but offensively, that's part and parcel of the problem here, is that ABS should allow this thing because the strike zone now has suddenly become a lot smaller. It's shrunk, and so you should be able to walk more. And here's your catcher who is amongst the worst in Major League Baseball in terms of drawing a free pass.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just kind of everybody on the Giants right now these days. They got 70. What was it, Steven Risotto, you had a really depressing walk stat that you told me yesterday. What was that stat?
Yeah, this was the last night was the third straight game where they did not draw a walk, and they hadn't had a stretch like that since 1976.
Yeah, that's really depressing. So everybody on this team can't really walk here.
Al Michaels was calling play-by-play for the Giants in 1976.
I'll tell you what, we're having an earthquake.
Can you look that up to verify?
Do you believe in walks? Yes. Oh, it'd be nice if we can get more walks here. I do think that's part of that. Kind of goes, I think, into the offensive issues with Patrick Bailey, though, as well. And it's just, I think the other part of it is, again, there's the fading defense. And I think there's just the Giants just kind of reading the room and realizing with him, they might have just gotten the best out of him over the last couple of years. And factoring also, Dan, this is a guy, Patrick Bailey, who routinely would fade in the second half of seasons. I think kind of conditioning was an issue for him during his time here. I remember at the end of his rookie year, I had a conversation with him just talking about, what are you going to do next year to kind of keep yourself from fading down the stretch like you did this year? And he talked about the dietary options and stuff like that the Giants offer and all the ways they can, he can stay in shape. And he's also got a guy like Buster Posey, who was with the organization, not as the president of baseball operations, but he was part of the ownership group and around the team. You had one of the best, guys to go to kind of pick his brain and learn how to stay fresh. Dan, he would hit about 240 in the first half in his career, 202 in the second half. I mean, August, he was below 200 as a hitter. He had some strong September finishes, but, by then it was kind of all she wrote on his seasons in those situations. I think it just came to a situation where they looked at Bailey as just like, we're tired of having to watch you fade away in the second half and not take the steps that you need to do to kind of bulk yourself up in the second half and, finish the season strong.
So Buster Posey now has made two significant trades since becoming the president of the San Francisco Giants. The first, of course, was the trade of Rafi Devers.
Yes.
And now he's traded his starting catcher, Patrick Bailey. I would say that, I'm not one of those that goes after Buster Posey because I was all in on just about every one of his moves, and we can get into that later in the show. Because I know everybody wants knives out. We got to point a finger at somebody. This is
everyone. There's always someone wants blood.
It's the nature of sports.
And as you mentioned earlier, we got to get a new scapegoat now. So,
because I would say that Buster Posey's first trade, at least to this point, and Devers showed signs. What is it, 8-game hitting streak, and he went deep yesterday. That's always a good sign. But at this point, that's not a trade that looks as though Buster Posey did well. And here's why. The forgotten name of this we talked about last week, Kyle Harrison. Kyle Harrison is lights out this year with the Cubs. With the Brewers.
Yeah.
The other guy in that trade, sort of forgotten, you might know this. You might be the only guy in the room, and Posey, you might be the other one, because I had to look this up. James Tibbs Jr.
I am very well aware of James Tibbs.
And where is he now?
The worst place he could possibly be. He's with those blue people in the South.
Oh, no. And he's part of that farm system that's the best in baseball.
And he is tearing it up for their AAA team. It is. Yeah, I try not to think about it because it's at some point, Dan, James Tibbs is going to do something that makes Giants fans absolutely miserable. Either he's going to be a postseason hero for that blue team, or he's going to be used in that trade that gets them Paul Skeens or something like that. It's there's no way Tibbs being on the Dodgers is going to end happily for the Giants.
So I guess my point in all of this is just, Buster's trade record up to this point, not very good, a little suspect, but still you need a lot of this to breathe, a little bit more time for us to assess exactly what's what with the San Francisco Giants as it relates to Buster Posey.
888-957-9570 is the number to call or text. How are we feeling about this Patrick Bailey trade? How are we feeling about the Giants just overall right now? We are going to kind of get back into the season as a whole here and talk a little bit about last night's game. But again, news breaking this morning per Jeff Passan, Giants have made it official. Patrick Bailey traded to the Cleveland Guardians for the number 29 pick in this year's draft and left-handed pitching prospect Matt Tugboat Wilkinson. At some point this show, we will need to find out why he has the nickname Tugboat in there. Matt
He's an Italian.
I guess that's probably a part of it too, but Jeff Passan literally calling him Matt Tugboat Wilson in the trade. So clearly it's a pretty prominent nickname. Let's go to the lines here. We got Skills on the line in Vallejo. Skills, what's going on, man? Great to have you back on the Wrap.
Hey, good morning there, Sam and Dan. I just wanted to talk about real quick. I'm working on a list. I've been a Giants fan. This is my 37th season as a Giants fan. I got a list of 37 home runs, my 37 favorite ones of all time, and Patrick Bailey is on that list 2 different times. The grand slam against the Dodgers to beat the Dodgers last season, and was it last season or the season before where he hit the walk-off home run against the Phillies? I can't remember. But
I think it was last year. Yeah,
the inside the Parker.
Yeah, there was the inside the Parker. You have the one to beat Philadelphia, the walk-off one.
I think that was the inside the Parker last year.
I can't remember exactly.
Anyway, go on. Yeah.
So Bailey had, if he could just bat from the 7th inning on, he would have been an all-star. But unfortunately, he never got that back to where consistently innings 1 through 6, where he could help the Giants where they desperately needed. And when you have not backup catchers, but weak hitting catchers, you can hide him in the lineup. If you're like Jeff Massis with the Angels back in the day, you can hide him behind Vladimir Guerrero, hide him behind Troy Gloss, Gary Anderson, all those guys. You can hide a Martin Maldonado behind the Houston Astros, Altuve, and all those guys. We have nowhere right now where we can hide Bailey's 146 bat. So unfortunately, the move has to be made. We'll miss him in a way, but I'm excited to see what Jesus Rodriguez is going to do. And then my last point real quick, the rest of the Giants, and you were talking about how the Giants are going overall this season, and I wonder if complacency, if they're just too comfortable. And there's some guys who signed the big contracts like Aaron Judge with the Yankees who can continue to rake and even get even better once he signs his $300 million deal. Then you have guys like Anthony Rendon, signs with the Angels and becomes absolutely useless in every way. Because I can't say for sure that you just get paid, you just give up and quit trying. I'm not saying necessarily the Giants are doing that, but I am saying that they are, some of them, possibly a little too comfortable. They're going to be in the lineup up until recently when they started making changes. They were going to be in the lineup every day no matter how they did. Maybe shaking things up a little bit is what they need to get them going. I hope last night was the start of that. See them turn things around and start winning some ball games. And thank you guys for having me on the air.
Awesome, Skills. Glad to have you on there. By the way, for anyone who's wondering, I didn't know you could trade draft picks. The Guardians were allowed to trade the number 29 pick because it is a competitive balance pick, which I guess has always been allowed to be moved. The Giants are also going to get an additional $3.27 million in slot value, bringing their total draft pool to $17.35 million, which is the 4th highest in the draft. So they'll have $17.35 million to spend on their draft picks this coming summer there. I don't know, Dan, what do you think? Do you think players getting a little too complacent and they needed to kind of get, shaken up here a little bit?
Not these guys. I understand what he's saying, and it does happen. I think it happens in all sports. But I don't see that with Willy Adames. If anything, I see just the opposite, that they're pressing too hard. And when we talk about a team that doesn't walk, that's ridiculous. But I also think it's compounded that when you get off to the slow start, that everybody is trying to do too much. What's the old phrase? You're trying to go 4 for 3, 4 hits and 3 at bats.
I would say he's trying to hit like a 5-run home run.
Yeah, and all of these guys are way, way too aggressive. And it's funny because somebody was talking, or maybe I read this, where it's just when you're going through something like this, it's tough because so many people are giving you advice, but it's the small things. Just like by taking a pitch can alter all of this. Like, I typically swing at that pitch. And now you begin to see the ball a little differently. And you get ahead in the count. And suddenly you get a base hit. And it's like these little wars that you have to play in your head. And I think the Giants are just out in front. And you have a bunch of guys that are they're trying to do too much and they're overly aggressive. But I would think that whether it's not that all roads go back to Tony Vitello, somebody's got to be the parent in the room and recognize that and saying, hey, guys, listen, how can we not walk in all of these baseball games? And it doesn't seem as though it's a point of concern, or at least something that maybe has not been brought to I'm assuming it has.
Yeah.
But if it has, then what the hell?
Well, I mean, I think, Andrew Bagley wrote a story, and I think Steven Risotto, you were in the clubhouse that day. What was it, Monday night? You walked in and you had, you walked and you were there Monday night, right? When they had the TVs up with the stats, or?
Yeah, so Monday night, actually, they, in the clubhouse, they usually have TVs, and the TVs play highlights of the opposing pitcher that they're going to face. And it's video of a guy's prior outing. Well, this time, they had a graphic on the TV, and it just said their on-base percentage, and then in parentheses, 29th in MLB. So that was just all around everywhere you would look on the TVs in the clubhouse. So they were reminding their guys that you guys suck.
Basically, yeah. And the way I look at
that's
it,
what the monitor should have said.
That's what it said. You look at it, like the way I look at it, Danny, I agree with you with the pressing, and Tony Vitello's talked about it a lot. He calls it too much try hard at times. And you saw it very early on this season. You're seeing a lot just overall this season. The way I look at it, Dan, is you just do one good thing a game. Just start off with that. Whether it's a base hit, maybe you draw a walk, maybe you get a sac fly. Just do one good thing a game. And then build on that from there. Maybe every now and then you do two good things in a game and then do one good thing a game. And, just keep building it up from there step by step until you're doing multiple good things a game over a long stretch of games. And I think you're kind of starting to see it right now from Rafael Devers. We can get into this on the other side. Last night, Dan, he hit a home run, and the location of the pitch, it was a sinker, a two-seam fastball sinker, had it right over the heart of the plate, a little up and to the left. And I love StatCast. I did a little search on that because it can show you exactly how good a hitter has been in the most specific parts of the strike zone. And that home run he hit last night, Dan, off the two-seamer, Rafi had not gotten a hit off a pitch in that location all year long. And then last night he did that. That's kind of the signs I look for if you are starting to turn this around. Let's pick this conversation up on the other side. I want to get Steven Risotto's thoughts also on Patrick Bailey, because he's been a very big defender of what Patrick Bailey can do defensively. And also, are we getting our special guest on the other side, Steven?
Yes, sir. Mystery caller? Or are you going to say it?
Yeah, no, we're going to have Joe Shasky call in on the River Islands guest line on the other side, and he's going to give all of his takes on Patrick Bailey.
Upstairs.
Dan, we might just take the entire segment off and just let Shasky cook. So, they blew up the Patrick Bailey situation, that's for sure. We're coming to you live from the Laughing Monk Studios, Laughing Monk, Righteously Brewed in San Francisco. More Giants talk coming up next, brought to you by Fremont Bank. Here for you, here for good.
We're down bad, dude.
Question. Real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right?
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know. Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video Only.
I need a little ranch, step to the ranch, come on, meet me at the ranch.
Introducing the new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club Sandwich. With that juicy Chick-fil-A chicken on a buttermilk ranch bun, jalapeno ranch sauce, and pickled jalapenos, it's a little ranch with a lot of kick. The new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club with original spicy or grilled filet. Available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
In the market for a new mattress but overwhelmed by all the options? At Mattress Firm, we make it easy. Just drop in, answer a few questions, and our sleep experts will guide you to your perfect mattress. And with options for every budget and free and fast delivery, it's no wonder more shoppers choose Mattress Firm than any other mattress specialty retailer. And now through Monday, save up to 60% on Sealy. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
All right, I need avocados, bananas, salad, steak.
Wow, does your grocery list have multiple pages?
No, but I skipped lunch, so now it's like my stomach is doing the grocery shopping. And besides, I'm earning cash back with Upside.
Upside? What's that?
Hold up, you haven't heard of it? Upside is a free app that gets you cash back when you shop at gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants. And they added Lucky and Food Max stores, so we're pretty much covered wherever we go.
All those stores?
Yep, so not only are we getting a great deal on groceries, now we can earn cash back as well.
Okay, downloading Upside. Now let me copy your grocery list.
Great news! Lucky and Food Max are now on Upside. Download the Upside app and use the promo code SAVE9 to earn a 10% cashback bonus on your first grocery purchase. That's promo code SAVE9 for a 10% cashback bonus. Use promo code SAVE9.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
Hi, welcome to Sprouts Farmers Market, where we guarantee none of our products have AI in them.
AI? How would food have artificial intelligence in it?
Oh no, I meant AI like artificial ingredients. Isn't that what AI stands for? Guess I've been spending too much time with local organic produce, 100% grass-fed beef, gluten-free snacks, dairy-free milks, surrounded by ingredients with nothing artificial in them.
Oh, that sounds nice.
With zero AI and healthy choices at prices you'll love, every aisle's a healthy aisle at Sprouts Farmers Market.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you. Hey!
Now back to 95.7 The Game.
All right, we are back here on the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. Sam Loman alongside Dan Devone here, and we are reacting to the breaking news that Patrick Bailey was traded this morning to the Cleveland Guardians. That highlight you heard there, I believe that was the walk-off grand slam against the Dodgers last year, right? Yeah, Dan, you and I did the show that next morning. I remember that was the first show after our boss, Matt Nahigian, said, you know what? Let's do a standard sports show. No more Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. And what did we do that morning, Dan? We spent 3 hours talking Giants baseball. It was like the rap never left. But anyway, with the big trade, we got to bring in a big guest. So we're going to go to the River Islands guest line and bring in my co-host from the Morning Roast, Joe Shasky. I'm sure he was awake bright and early to record his video. Already got his video out. Shasky, how you doing today, bud? Thanks for joining us.
I'm out. You guys are killing me. First off, big guest. That's hyperbolic. I am over here at Crocker Park, Diamond, whatever, next to the turf soccer fields, and I'm watching my 7 and 8 year olds play in a playoff game. So I was in the garage after doing a workout this morning, and I get the Jeff Passan update, like the ESPN update. I'm like, what? Patrick Bailey? Like the Giants, Patrick Bailey? I was shocked, like straight up shocked. So that's how my day started, as I was like getting all the gear ready for 3 different playoff games for our youth teams. And wow, I mean, my jaw dropped. Weren't you guys shocked?
No, I was completely shocked. I did not see it coming, I guess, this kind of suddenly and out of the blue. There's a part of me, Shasky, that was shocked that he even had any trade value here. Wow. But yeah, it just, the fact that he's gone, yeah, just, I guess shocked is one thing, but kind of, yeah, where's the Giants catching position kind of go from here now?
Well, okay, so let's break it down from the beginning. Number one, this was one of, I know people want to like scoff at it, it's one of their better young developed players. He actually made the minor leagues. He was a Farhan draft pick. I mean, he's been a better Major League Baseball player than Joey Bart for the Giants. I think that's not a hyperbolic statement. I think that's pretty straightforward. That being said, the bat just completely evaporated the last 2 years. And yes, he's a 2-time Gold Glove Award winner. I just think in general, we have overrated his defense overall. I'm not saying he's not a really good defender. He absolutely is. It's the bat is so bad, I'm not sure the defense is good enough for me to overlook how horrible the bat's been. And then you couple that in with the emergence of Casey Schmidt, who now looks like they're better, younger homegrown prospect, and also Elliot Ramos. I'm surprised we're here trading this guy away so quickly. But you referenced Susak and you referenced Jesus Rodriguez. Their emergence on this roster, I mean, I was doing the numbers this week. How long are they going to carry 3 catchers? I said it to you, I think, 3 or 4 different times, and I was surprised. They need an outfielder. They put the catcher in right field this week after catching 2 games, and then, boom, we get the news today. I'm sad he's gone, but I get it. I'm sad because it felt like he had way more potential, and he just never lived up to it with the bat.
You mentioned the defensive metrics there, Shasky, and you and Steven Risotto have had a lot of interesting conversations about this in the morning in terms of just how much those defensive metrics matter. A part of me wonders, and I want to get your thoughts on this, with the introduction of ABS, we know at some point we're going to be going full-on ABS where every pitch is going to be called by a robot here. Couple that with some other defensive deficiencies we saw. I've always brought up the plays at home plate that he always seemed to whiff on. Do you feel like the Giants kind of maybe took a look at what Bailey was doing defensively and figured, you know what, we probably got the best out of him defensively. Maybe now is a good time to move off of him while he still has some value?
I don't know. It's an interesting question. Because, Sam, I wonder if Adames and Devers and Chapman were producing at a normal rate, would we be so hyper-focused on offense in general? I think that's a fair question. Like, if he was on a stacked offensive lineup, could he be passable? Could he be the guy that you could get away with batting 8th or 9th in a lineup, and you're not really worried about his 151 average or whatever it is currently? I wonder that. The problem is that bats were so predictable, and he wasn't squaring it up often. He had some unbelievable late-game heroics in multiple seasons, but this year, the at-bats looked so bad. He was batting switch. He was a switch hitter, which I question whether that was legit or not. He had basically 2 awful swings that he was working on, and then it just felt like other guys surpassed him. Sam, I don't know what ended up happening with him. Like, is that a fair question to ask? If the rest of these guys are producing, is he really the odd man out, or was this inevitable regardless?
I mean, that's something that Steven Risotto even said when he came in here. He said, I didn't
hear that.
When he came in before the show started, he basically insinuated that if Willie Adames, Rafi Devers, and all those guys were hitting, we're maybe not having this conversation. But I look at the overall body of work, and Shasky, the other thing I think about is, Patrick Bailey in the second half, how often were we banging our heads against the wall because this guy just kept fading in the second half and couldn't take care of his body? Yeah. I sometimes wonder how much that played a role in this trade now.
No, I think it's a great point. The other thing I want to address that you brought up in your first question was the ABS. Hard for me to know. I think it's really hard for me to know. This is year one. I don't want to overreact to like a month and a half of data, but I'm sure it's a factor. It just felt like he never really threw guys at enough of a rate that I could say like, oh, he's got one of the most elite arms. I actually did like him as a blocker of the ball in general. I think the entire staff struggles with holding runners on, so that's bigger than just him. I mean, think about when they had Doval for so many years. The guy had the highest leg kick on the planet. Good luck trying to hold a runner on and throwing down to second. So I don't know, man. We're really going off of Susak a couple of weeks and Rodriguez. I go back to Posey. He must clearly feel very convicted, as I use a John Lynch term, in his beliefs that Bailey's not the dude and that these other guys deserve a crack. And I kind of, for now, I guess I got to trust his instincts. Stop hitting the tee. Hit the ball. I'm yelling at my son.
Oh, I thought you were pretending to be Tony Vitello yelling at one of our hitters here. You know, Shasky, one more before we get you out of here, a non-Bailey question. Rafi Devers, 8-game hitting streak.
Are you doing a solo show?
No, Dan's here too. Dan just said you talked to him.
Hi, Dan.
What's up, Joe?
I'm sorry, long-winded loves ain't letting you get a word in, dude. I apologize.
You're good.
Rafi Devers, how encouraged are you by what you've been seeing from him lately?
Yesterday's at-bats have been great the last couple of days. But you've got to do this for a couple of weeks, right? I mean, we need to see a sustained run for this team. I mean, has he had a 2.5-week stretch with the Giants? Probably not. Like, I'm talking about a stretch, a real stretch where he's an absolute threat. Probably not. Would this be the makings of it? Man, I hope so. This team needs a shot in the arm so bad. They just need to stay in it. I know they're only, 7 or so out of that third wild card. It seems crazy that it's only like May 10th or whatever and they're that far out. But you're still kind of in it. You can go on a 2 or 3 week run. You just never know. I'm just shocked they got anything for this guy, Bailey. I mean, I'm like legitimately jaw dropped.
Yeah. Well, Joe, I appreciate you jumping on here. Get back to your game and make sure LJ's hitting the ball and not the tee.
Hey, Devone, make sure he comes up for air. The nickname is Scuba Sam, all right? Make sure he comes up for air and passes the rock. Love you guys. Talking soon. Keep doing great work.
Really fun to see LJ tonight.
There was Joe Shasky there joining us on the River Islands guest line. Had to get his thoughts on a trade that big there for Patrick Bailey. But, yeah, I know, Dan, I want to bring Steven Risotto in, actually, Dan, if you don't mind, because I want to get his thoughts, because you really did defend Patrick Bailey's presence on this team via his defense.
He's the best defensive catcher in baseball. I'm not even going to say he's he is the best defensive catcher in baseball. And I think the Giants made this move because it was one of the few positions, contractually speaking, that you could make a move. So I'm not saying that he's a scapegoat because he didn't hit well enough for me to call him a scapegoat. But I do wonder what the feeling is for a guy like Rafael Devers and Willy Adames and Matt Chapman, because essentially this is on them. This move happened because of them. We're sitting here critiquing the at-bats, and no knock on Shasky. I've gone after him about this in the past. We're sitting here critiquing the at-bats of a guy who, we're not supposed to care about his offense. And, we're sitting here blaming him for the reasons of these. We're not everybody's blaming him, but I think it's a little overboard. I disagree with the fact that, I'm shocked that they got something for him. I think it's actually a good haul, but at the same time, probably that's what he's worth. Cleveland has another, outstanding defensive catcher with Austin Hedges. They're two of the best framers in baseball. But I just think it's not necessarily the fact that Bailey was dealt, but it's more so how the Giants are viewing this team. And they are sticking up quite a bit for some of these highly paid guys in the lineup who aren't doing anything. And it put some unnecessary attention on the at-bats that Bailey's been taking. And I agree that his offense was not good enough to be in the lineup. I agree with that. But I think a bigger picture explanation for this is the fact that these guys aren't hitting, and it was just harder to hide, and you couldn't go with them much longer.
Yeah, I don't know, Dad. Do you think if other guys are hitting more, do you think Bailey has more leeway there? What do you think?
I think 140 is 140. There's guys that don't hit, and then there's 140. I get that he's a good defender, but you can't. Who hits in Major League Baseball And albeit the numbers have come down since the steroid era, but I don't know a lot of guys that are starting 1 through 9 that come to the plate every day with a batting average at 140 or 150. That's not major league level. And so I think something had to be done. And the reason why, obviously you can't do anything with Adames. You can't do anything with Chapman. You can't do anything with Devers, which is something I do want to get into a little bit later in the show. Because as much as we vilified, and I was a Gabe Kapler guy, but I'm sure people would love to see a little platooning these days, but it ain't going to happen with these guys because you're cemented with the contracts of these big three. So, yeah, he was a guy that was an easy target because he was a catcher and he was tradable, and somebody's got to take the fall.
You mentioned platooning there, and that makes me kind of wonder, do you think maybe the Giants could have maybe given this kind of a bit of a ride where maybe they do have Bailey and Rodriguez kind of go back and forth and platoon as the catchers for a little bit just to see how they play together? I'm kind of curious if doing that would have changed anything. You play Bailey a little bit less, but you still have him as a defensive replacement maybe later in games. You don't have to move off of him right away. I wonder if that would have been an interesting alternative option for the Giants.
Didn't you think that that's what they were going to do prior to what happened this morning?
Well, I thought it was kind of the fact they had 3 catchers on the roster. I thought was pretty interesting. The fact that Rodriguez had positional versatility, though, you can make that make sense then for carrying 3 catchers. But to your point, Dan, that's exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was going to be you'd see Rodriguez probably starting a lot of games. Again, Tony last night said that they want to kind of make things as less stressful for the pitchers as they can offensively, and that means scoring runs. And Patrick Bailey, simply put, he wasn't adding to that. But I did like the idea. I think, was it this week? He didn't start a game at all this week. I think he started on Monday night. But no, he didn't start on Monday night.
He did not. There's a stretch where he sat for 3 straight games after they had called up Rodriguez.
Yeah, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he's not in the starting lineup. I think he came in as a defensive replacement in a few of those games. I don't know. Maybe that's just not something they wanted to have him do long term.
Well, it's interesting because if you come in as a defensive replacement late in games and some of those games are close, do you really want to take Rodriguez, who is a contact hitter, at least at this point, out of the lineup of a close game late in innings? Mm-hmm. It's not like that of a pitcher, right? Mm-hmm. Because you've got to come to the plate. And so if you're having him as a defensive replacement late in games, that makes sense. But you also have to justify his bat coming to the plate late in games of a tight contest.
Yeah, and again, last night he was on deck in the bottom of the 8th inning. He didn't get into the game, though, at that point. So we didn't get to see him take an at-bat with what would have been his last at-bat. Again, I think when it comes to defensive replacements, though, it is more just you're in for the defense because you're probably only get one at-bat in those situations, in those late games. And that's where it becomes important to control the run game because there's who has stolen base early in this game here on the Pirates. I think it was
Connor Griffin.
Yeah, I think it was Connor Griffin in the first inning.
Dude, he's a good-looking player.
Oh, he moves so well at shortstop. But I think he stole.
Was he the top player that came out last year?
When did he come out?
Wasn't he the top one? I want to say he was the number 1
He
pick.
was up there. I mean, he got that big contract right before the season started. Let me see it here. I wrote it down. Yeah, it was Griffin. It was just a horrible throw that Jose Rodriguez had to second base. And I was like, ooh, buddy, you're going to have to get better at that. You got a pitching staff that already can be a little bit slow to the plate as is. You cannot have a bad arm or a slow pop time like Rodriguez had. So he's going to have to improve that. But I think also Susak is also a pretty good defensive catcher. That being said, he's dealing with the right elbow neuritis. Hopefully that's not something that lasts for a long time. So,
and when we call Jesus Rodriguez a multi-positional player, I would say he can catch, and if you're going to put him in the outfield, he can play left field.
Yeah, they tried him in right field the other day.
And that is I'm a Tony Vitello. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, let this breathe a little bit. But Jesus Rodriguez go play right field when you've never played. He didn't play right field in the minors. He was a left fielder.
What's going on here?
I think he had 7 innings or something in the right field or something like that. Some very paltry. But in fairness, he almost had a great play out in right field the other day. That I forget who hit the ball, but the fly ball to right field just ticked off his glove there as he dove for it.
I don't think that was a good play. That was the reason why he shouldn't have been out there. That was an out that he kicked away for the triple that ended the game.
If he was an inch further, he catches that ball, and we're talking about a potential Gold Glove route.
He shouldn't have been out there. That's That's Oracle Park. That's the most difficult in baseball.
It's a very difficult right field out there.
I mean, they listed literally, it's Oracle 1, Fenway 2, and I think Coors Field's right field is number 3 because of the high winds and all the crazy stuff.
It's a very big outfield out there, too. Yeah. I think Rodriguez, he's played some third and second base as well in the past. So that's kind of where his positional versatility comes in there. Maybe he's got a little bit of Pablo in him, go from catcher to third base. Steven Risotto, you said you had something you wanted to chime in here with.
Yeah, I just want you guys to react to this. And Kerry Crowley brought up a point from the SF Standard. The last few Giants draft picks, 2012, Chris Stratton, 2013, Christian Arroyo, 2014, Tyler Beatty, 2015, Phil Bickford, 16, they signed Jeff Samardzija, so they forfeited that pick. 17, Elliot Ramos, he's stuck. 18, Joey Bart, who is in town. 19, Hunter Bishop, never seen big league time. 20, Patrick Bailey, probably the breadwinner in this group. 21, Will Bednar. We still have not seen him in the big leagues. He's been hurt and inconsistent. Reggie Crawford, always hurt. He's in 22. 23, Bryce Eldridge. 24, James Tibbs, now with the Dodgers. And 25, Gavin Keelan, who's in High A Eugene. So Kerry basically said, with some analysis here, no pressure, Bryce.
No, I mean, that's basically every draft pick since Joe Panik in 2011, who was probably the last good first-round pick the Giants have found. I think there's two ways to look at that, Steven. First way you can look at that is the draft is a total crapshoot. Dan, we went down the rabbit hole of what was it, the 2018 draft? Because that was when Joey Bart was drafted. Did you know that Tarek Skubal was drafted in the 9th round of that year? Like, baseball's draft is such a crapshoot.
Seattle University. Like, what the hell was he? That was the only school that recruited him.
Exactly. Like, you could find some incredible gems late in the draft. And that was also the Kyler Murray draft as well, that 2018 draft. So that's part of it. But
do the A's still have his rights?
I don't know. I don't know if they
do.
Oh, really? They don't get sent to the Twins when he joins the Vikings? It's like one of those things?
No.
Oh, man. I wonder if Kyler ever thinks, like, yeah, at least I dodged that bullet. I still got on the Cardinals, but
he's their first place team.
Well, yeah, right now. Now he's fighting for J.J. McCarthy.
Shout out Shane Chandelier.
Shay Langoliers.
Shane
Chandeliers.
Try again, Dan.
I want to swing from the chandelier.
I know it's Langoliers. I'm having a little fun. It's either Shane Chandelier or Shane Lingerie.
Also one of the best walk-up songs in baseball.
Yeah. If you want to sing, was a ride to me, some sing to me. Hey,
is he the best catcher in baseball? Is he better than our boy Cal out in Seattle?
He's better than Patrick Bailey. Shay Langoliers might be the best catcher that no one's talking about right now. I like Shane Chandeliers now.
Right?
I kind of like that now.
Thank you.
I want him to come out to the Sia song.
Chandeliers.
Will you get on board with me with Cuckoo Gilbert, or is that going to take time?
Cuckoo Gilbert. I like. Well, Cuckoo Gilbert. Drew Gilbert needs to keep his helmet on right now. He's kind of got the Jung-Hoo Lee problem where he keeps swinging out of his helmet lately.
Well, he tried to kiss Jung-Hoo Lee in the outfield.
Cuckoo Gilbert, bro.
Yeah, I mean, last night, they go up. We're a little off topic now, but yeah, after the game, the outfielders, they all do the little huddle around the outfield afterwards. And Jung-Hoo Lee, Gilbert, and Ramos are out there. Then you see Jung-Hoo Lee grab their heads and do like the Mike Tyson meme, now kiff, and try to do that to them.
I thought it was more like a Three Stooges. He was just banging the heads together like you two bozos.
I mean, it could be like that too. I feel like Jung-Hoo Lee is goofy that way.
Well, Cuckoo Gilbert now with, of course, the best bandana on the team since Mr. Bailey's off the squad.
That's true. He's got a nice little stack of those bandanas in his locker. I was telling Risotto last night that at some point I want to do... You saw that show... You remember that show Cribs on MTV?
Yeah, of course.
I want to do like a similar show, but like call it Lockers for MLB players and just have Drew Gilbert show like... Instead of like the rappers showing off all their cars in the garage, I want Drew Gilbert to show off all of his headbands in his locker. Because he's got a nice little stack there. I'm curious how he chooses which one to go with.
Just a bottle of Andro in there.
I was going to say, that's how Mark McGuire got popped back in the day.
Well,
right?
yeah, maybe give a little heads up. Hey, we're going to be doing this thing. Maybe clear out all your illegals here. There's a lot of bottles that they would have to clear out there, that's for sure. The second part, though, of that, as we get back on topic of the draft record, though, I do think that does continue to highlight, though, just abysmal first-round draft record that the Giants have had over the last 15 years. And that goes beyond Buster Posey and Farhan Zaidi, and that goes back to the Brian Sabian, Bobby Evans era even.
Yeah, and it's really, we mentioned the Dodgers earlier, and it's really the difference between sort of being good and bad. in a lot of ways, because when you have your own, just like in any other sport, they're under team control. And what I mean by that is that they're on the cheap. If you get good players, I always use Brock Purdy as the example. When you get those 4 or 5 years in Major League Baseball where you got these guys on the cheap and they're outperforming, that's how you get good. And that allows you and frees you up money to do other things to complement, the core of your young players. And so the Tampa Bays of the world, the Dodgers of the world, I mean, there's something in the secret sauce. And I really think it's something that's overlooked, because who pays attention to the MLB draft? No one really, maybe you and Pasta. But
that's about it.
It's really handicapping that and getting that right is really the difference between, I think, being good and bad and relevant in Major League Baseball.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Dan, why are so many people mad at the 49ers right now? Because they think they had a draft that wasn't good enough, because the draft is what fuels the teams going forward. Why is everyone going to be pissed off at the Warriors in a few weeks? Because they're going to make a draft pick and everyone's going to say that it was the incorrect draft pick, because the draft is the lifeblood of how you keep it going. And with the Dodgers, they've had a top 10 farm system for like the last 20 years now.
Yeah.
They just keep finding these guys, and there's a development aspect of it.
I know you love Dalton Rushing.
Oh, I hate Dalton Rushing. I'm so out on that guy. What a loser.
But he's another prod. But to my point, he's a good catcher.
No.
And they're trying to find this dude at bats.
Right.
I mean,
they'll find him at bats next week, I'm sure, when he tries to do more takeout slides and not care afterwards. But the other half of it, Dan,
everybody hates him, by the way. You're not alone.
Good.
I say he's an idiot.
Everybody hates Dalton. But the other half of that, though, Dan, is prospects are currency, in that, you look at the Dodgers. They got Yu Darvish that 1 year for some prospects. They got Manny Machado in 2018 for some prospects from the Orioles. There's that just disgusting Mookie Betts trade that they sent Alex Verdugo, who was a prospect in that trade. Prospects are currency at the trade deadline. And I'll never forget the 2016 deadline, Dan, when the Giants were trying to acquire Mark Melancon and they fell short because their prospect package was not good enough to get Mark Melancon. I remember Bobby Evans saying afterwards, like, damn, I really thought we had that one. And I hated that he said that at the moment, because what you basically just admitted is that our farm system's bad and you didn't realize it.
Yeah, and I think it's important to distinguish that it's good to have depth and multiple assets so that you can move off of one. The problem with the Giants is that their only asset was Zach Wheeler. Their only asset was James Tibbs. Like, if you have a bunch of those guys, okay, they become expendable. But in the case of the San Francisco Giants, if you got one or two, it doesn't necessarily bode well.
I mean, Dan, a couple years ago, in 2022, we're having this massive argument here at the station. Juan Soto was on the trade market, and we're like, do you trade Kyle Harrison for him or not? And no one here, other than sudden like Bonte Hill, wanted to give up Kyle Harrison, because that was your future. Not only was that your future, but that was literally the only prospect in the system at the time you felt good about. Fast forward to 2023, Shohei Ohtani's potentially on the trade market. Do you put Marco Luciano up for 2 months of Shohei? And it was, no, you can't do that. He's our future, because he was the only hitter in the system that you felt good about. Now, Luciano obviously has faded away. Kyle Harrison has rediscovered himself. But when you only have one or two guys in your farm system that you feel good about, it's harder to want to give them up. When you got multiple guys in your farm system, that's why the Padres, they had such a deep farm system, they'll mortgage all of them to bring guys in. The Dodgers, they have no problem trading their prospects away, because they are very confident in their drafting and player development. So Patrick Bailey was crazy enough to say, over the last 15 years, one of those first-round wins for the Giants. Now he's playing for Stephen Vogt in the Guardians, and I could absolutely see Stephen Vogt turning Patrick Bailey around into a very good catcher.
Stephen Vogt has a doppelganger, by the way, these days. Much like that of our man, Mr. Correa and Gabe Kapler, you ought to look at his assistant coach. It's a little mini Stephen Vogt. If you ever watch a Cleveland Guardian game, he's got a guy right next to him who just...
Is that what, I guess that's his bench coach?
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's their version of Kai Correa.
Ooh, okay. We'll have to look that up at the break here. On the other side, let's transition to the rest of the team. You want to talk about the veterans, Dan, and Buster Posey was on the Giants Talk podcast with Alex Pavlovich and Kyla Mills earlier this week, talking about the situation with the veterans. We'll hear from Buster on the other side. Plus, you asked me earlier if I'd been chatting with Logan Webb. I actually did chat with Logan Webb yesterday, talk about the current state of the team. We'll hear from him as well. All that brought to you by Fremont Bank, here for you, here for good.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans from T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T as of 3/24/26. Taxes, fees, extra. $30 monthly discount limited to new mobile customers only. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
As the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026, Bank of America knows how much hard work it takes to achieve a dream. So when it comes to owning a home, we're here to help. Get guidance and resources to buy a home you love, including up to $17,500 in select markets when combining down payment and closing cost grants. Visit BofA.com/home team. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Yeah, Dan Dibley here for Fremont Bank, which, as you know by now, it's my bank, and it has been for more than 6 years. And I love this bank because it's a family-owned bank with the family-owned feel. They started back in 1964, and when they did that, it was just one branch, but now they have 21 branches. So if you go around in your Bay Area, you're going to find a Fremont Bank branch, and you're going to see it, and you're going to think, you know what? I want that full-service banking with no compromises, and you should. It's not a big box bank. It's a good local bank, and when you deposit your money with Fremont Bank, they reinvest it locally into businesses, philanthropy, home ownership, all the good stuff that makes our Bay Area the best area in all of the country. And that's why you should be a Fremont Bank customer. The money stays here. It's local. It's not a big box bank. It's a good, solid local bank. And we talk about Fremont Bank, and you know that they're here for you and here for good.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/music. ethos.com/music. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Question. Real estate in California. What the Seriously, can someone help? What's an escrow? What's an ARM? What is an REO? What is pre-approval? Can I get pre-approval? Why is inventory so low? Why are interest rates so high? Oh, interest rates not so high? How low is low? How not so high is right?
Before you go down the road of questions, get expert help at championsofhome.com. California Association of Realtors. Who's your realtor?
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today.
Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Don't miss your chance to see the legendary Boz Scaggs on his Rhythm Review Tour. He'll be performing live on September 23rd at the Masonic. Buy your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. And for a chance to win tickets courtesy of Live Nation, visit the contest page at 957thegame.com.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Now back to the best Giants talk in the Bay. The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Yeah. Dwayne Kuiper's right. Patrick Bailey is on the move. He is on the move, heading to Cleveland for the number 29 pick in the draft.
Felisa? Oh, come on.
And Matt Tugboat Wilkinson. At some point, we will figure out why he is called Tugboat Wilkinson.
Hey, really quick, I was just looking up the best catchers in Giants history. And so, obviously, Buster Posey, number one. But the rest of these guys I've never heard of. Buck Ewing. Oh, this is back.
Buck Ewing, he was one of the best players of the 1800s. He was actually, Dan, fun fact, he was one of the first catchers to just get in the squat behind the plate right away. Back then, because pitchers would throw hard, there wasn't really protective gear. So catchers would sit, a few feet back behind home plate.
Down under.
And let the ball bounce in front of them and receive it then. But when a player got on base, catchers would have to get right up behind home plate in case they stole. Buck Ewing was the first person to be like, no, screw that. I'm just going to get right in the squat and get right to it.
It's good knowledge.
So what are you going off of this metric by best catchers here?
I'm just reading this off the internet here.
I'm just seeing how many others I can name.
You got, if you can give me any nuggets on Roger Nanahan.
Oh, that one I don't know.
Early 1900s. I don't think that. Tom Haller I've heard of.
Tom Haller, he was 60s, 70s, I believe.
Yeah.
Is Benito? I don't think Benito Santiago is here long.
I don't see him. No. The guy by the name of Chief Myers?
Chief Myers. So that had to be, 1920s, right?
Gee, how do you know these guys?
Well, 1920s, that's when you had, George High Pockets Kelly on the team. You had some great nicknames.
You're scaring
baseball
me
back
right
then.
now. You are scaring me.
I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to this team.
High Pockets Kelly was also a councilman in Millbrae.
Oh, that I did not know.
Okay, both of you two need to go somewhere and sit in a room and be contained and not talk to people.
Well, yeah. What do you think he and I were doing back there in the producer studio most mornings?
Or start talking to people. Maybe that's the problem. You guys are locked up in a room studying this stuff all day. Bob Brenly's now. Oh, yeah. Bob Brenly gets an honorable mention.
Yeah. Bob Melvin. He was a former Giants catcher.
Shout out Cal.
Kurt
Manwaring.
Yeah, Kurt Manwaring. Remember him?
Remember Chris Berman? What is that man wearing?
Yorvi Torrealba. He was a solid catcher for a minute. And then, yeah, you mentioned Benji there. But, yeah, the list behind Buster at catcher is actually kind of paltry in Giants history there. Look at the YouTube chat here. Bust on YouTube. Wow, Guardians got fleeced. What did they get fleeced on? Well, they got fleeced on a trade that sent Patrick Bailey to the Guardians in exchange for the number 29 pick, which was a competitive balance pick, which you are allowed to trade, and Matt Tugboat Wilkinson. Giants also got an additional $3 million in draft bonus money. So what else do we have here? Hyperflix. Posey's pretty good at dealing on the trading block. I think that is one thing we've learned, Dan, about Buster Posey is he does not wait around to take action. You remember when Farhan Zaidi was here, it was almost like a paralysis by analysis. They didn't know what moves to make because they were so terrified of losing these trades, and they just wouldn't make any moves. Buster, it's very much the opposite.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see how this all turns out. I don't have any issues with Buster up to this point because I think we were all in on Rafi Devers. It hasn't worked out. I think the only issue that I have is just sort of the years, which is sort of scary.
I agree.
Especially when it comes to Devers.
Those last 4 years of Rafi are going to be really brutal.
Yeah, but you can justify it if the first 5 years are productive, right? Like if you win, I think you go into those sort of things knowing you're going to eat a portion of that contract. But if it makes sense, if you're winning World Series, there's justification.
Well, yeah, I mean,
these contracts.
Well, I mean, that's why you sign these contracts. I mean, the Willie Adames contract, the reason you make a move for someone like a Rafi Devers is because you feel like you're a couple years away from a World Series, or you're in a 3 or 4 year window where you can contend for a World Series, and you feel like one of these guys can kind of put you over the top here. That's not what I think Buster did with these trades. I think Willie Adames was, you're trying to bring in a pillar to build your team around and bring some young guys up around. With Rafi Devers, that was, the Giants were trying to find that free agent hitter for so long, and they couldn't sign him, so you got to trade for him, and then you start building around him here. I almost think the way Buster's going about building this team, it's kind of, I don't know if backwards is the right term, but he's trying to bring in the veterans first and then the young guys later, where I think a lot of times you see the young guys come up first and then you add veteran pieces around them later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think if there's a win now mentality, you don't have any young guys you can build around, which is the issue.
Well, I don't even think that the Giants, when Buster took over, I don't know if the Giants were necessarily in a win. I mean, they did make some moves again of bringing Matt Chapman that prior season. Farhan did. They brought in Blake Snell. The Snell signing was an absolute disaster. I don't know if the Giants were so much in a win now mode as much as they were in a, we don't want to do a rebuild mode. So we're going to try and spend our way out of this and then develop while trying to win at the same time. That's what I think the Giants are trying to do.
Yeah, and I think he's put a competitive product on the. I have not had, if there were a player that he has acquired or moves that he's made that at the time, and I got to be honest, because I know a lot of this is 2020 hindsight, right? Like if there were moves that he made at the time where I was like, what are you doing? That makes no sense. I mean, that was easy to do with Farhan because he was completely complacent and wouldn't do anything. But, I mean, starting at third base, were you in on re-signing Chapman? I was like Chapman, for sure.
Oh, I mean, Buster had to go above Farhan's head to re-sign Chapman because we were all terrified that Farhan was going to let Chapman walk for nothing. Because that season, Chapman was one of the few good things on this team. He had like a 7 WAR that year for the Giants. What's yours now? 26? That was the 2024 season. Everyone was on board that move at the time. Now, though, I'm curious what Giants fans are feeling about all three of these veterans.
No,
by the way.
I get now, but at the time.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And the same thing as you move over to shortstop, do you want Nick Ahmed? Do you want Marco Luciano as your shortstop? So I think he upgraded with the best shortstop that was available. I know there was some risk involved. I think you mentioned this last year, the confines out in Milwaukee. But I think we all would agree that you want Willie Adames, who was not only one of the top free agents available, but certainly the best shortstop that was available. And he was doing best for team. And so Willie Adames and then Arise makes sense at second base, one of the few guys that has paid off this year. And then over at first, while Devers was a bit of a risk, I think everybody was in on the fact that he was doing the polar opposite of Farhan and going out and getting a star and rocking the boat a bit. The fact that they haven't hit, I know this is a lame take because it doesn't really satisfy a lot of people, but sometimes it's just baseball.
Yeah.
It's a weird effing sport, man. Yeah. Your old man plays golf. I would say baseball is as much of a mind F as golf.
I was literally just asked to go throw the golf analogy back at you, actually. It's funny you do that. But 888-957-9570. Even after the win last night, again, Giants 5-2 over the Pirates. They are 15-23. They're 8 games below 500. And let's see, where are they in overall Major League Baseball? They still have the worst record in baseball.
What did the Mets do last night? Did they win?
The Mets did win last night. They're also 15-23, just like the Giants. The good news, though, Dan, Giants no longer a 100-loss pace.
Oh,
yay! They're on like a 98 loss pace
and
right
you know
now.
what you can always hang on to? Was it 29? When was the year the Nationals won it? 2019, right? 19-31 was the start, right?
That is true.
So everybody who's got to remember, 19-31, and they went on to win the World Series, and it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, so that was 12 games below 500. That's actually a good one. The number I looked at was the other day when they started off. When they were 14-23. So I looked this up on Thursday. in the last 26 in this century, I guess actually, the only team that started off 14-23 and still made the playoffs was the 2005 Astros. They went 89-73 that year and made it to the World Series. So it is possible. Unfortunately, no Giants team that has started off 14-23 or worse has even had a winning season.
It's science.
You know, the 1991 team, I believe, went 63-62 after their, 13-24 start.
What year?
That was 91.
Oh, okay.
I looked all this up the other day.
Of course you did.
That was the only team that had a above 500 record after that disaster start in Giants history. All this to say is this is going to have to be a very historical season if the Giants are going to get any semblance of success out of it.
You got to believe.
I guess so. I did have a chance to talk with Logan Webb yesterday. I asked him, why do you feel like this team can still turn things around?
I think you look at it, just the talent in the room. I think that's what gives you hope. There's a reason why a lot of guys in this clubhouse get paid a lot of money to play baseball. It's because they've done it for a long time. They've done it successfully. So kind of hang your hat on that and hope that it all turns around, including myself. I'll be the first one to tell you I haven't pitched very well. I got to dig deep and find something in me to get back to being myself, and hopefully that comes here soon.
So again, he starts out by saying he believes in the talent in the room, and obviously you're thinking about the big dogs on this team: Chapman, Adames, Devers. You're starting to see a little bit. Steve Risotto with these drops, man. He saw you did a lot of Warriors this week with Evan and Risotto, so you know it very well.
On the big dog.
He is. We had him filling in for Carter on the board for a while when Carter, who's also out, Carter Chickering, our Morning Roast board op, he was also out on baby leave for 8 weeks.
There's more guys out in that morning show. There's more load management on the Morning Roast than any other show.
It's not load management. It's baby management. That's what it is. You had Spadoni and Carter out for a period, and so Risotto was going solo behind, and he was nailing Shasky on some of these drops here.
I'm like the Casey Schmidt of that show.
Basically, he's the young upcoming guy who's
got to find a place to play.
Probably better than all of us. We got to figure out a way to squeeze him in the lineup.
Going with that, thank you.
He's got the me and Matt Chapman and Carter and Luis Arias blocking him at the positions there. But it starts with those big three guys kind of turning this thing around here. And
let's talk Logan Webb for a bit, because he obviously hasn't been good, and you're closer to this than I. Is it the knee?
I don't think it's the knee. I think he'll tell you that the knee. He'll tell you that the knee's not an issue. I did see a brace on the knee yesterday.
The thing will be amputated, and he'll tell you it's fine.
Yeah, so I don't know how great of a source he is on that one. I don't know about that one though. The knee, it's tricky on that one. I mean, because he's probably not going to be honest in terms of. Well, I don't like that term. He's going to make it out to be like it's not as bad as it is.
He's old school.
Yeah, he's going to tough it out. Like even here, right there, he puts on himself. And I asked him about ABS, and I'll just say here's what he said about ABS.
I feel like I'm the poster boy of people trying to say like, I'm not pitching well because of that. But it's complete BS. I just haven't pitched well. There's a lot of times the last couple of years where I didn't get strikes going my way either, right? So I think that was everybody. But I think it's the same. I haven't changed the way I'm pitching. It's just I haven't pitched very well. That's just the gist of it.
So again, you mentioned the knee. I bring up the ABS. Those are both factors that could be affecting his performance on the mound. I do kind of appreciate about Logan Webb. He's very candid. I just need to be better. So I don't know if it's the knee or the ABS. Maybe it is a situation where he's just struggling out the gate here and he needs to figure it out.
And the starting pitching has not been bad.
No.
I mean, it's
Robbie Ray pitched very well last night.
Robbie Ray, and of course Roop is going today, and Hauser actually has been better over especially his last outing, although I don't know why he got pulled in the seventh the other day. We can talk about that. But, I mean, it's not the starting pitching, and believe it or not, the bullpen has been adequate, the back end, even last night.
Cale Killian got a little bit adventurous there.
Yeah, so I think the back end is, you got to figure that out.
Well, you got to figure out Ryan Walker. We can get to him in just a moment.
That's the definition of the back end.
But Logan... What concerned me about Logan this week, Dan, and this is a similar thing happened with Willie Adames in April. It's that Willie had like a 1 week stretch in April where he started hitting the ball really well. And you're thinking, maybe the pressure of the contract is off of him. Maybe he's getting started a little bit earlier this year because usually he's a guy who's cold in April, warms up in May. And then he kind of crashed afterwards. And that That's what was concerning with me in terms of Willy Adames in April, is that he showed signs of life and then it went away. Same thing right now for Logan Webb. Prior to his start against the Padres on Tuesday night, Dan, and his 3 prior starts before that was against the Nationals, the Dodgers, and I want to say was it the Rays or the Marlins? Or one of those teams.
Marlins.
There it is. He went, I think, 20 innings combined in those 3 starts, allowed 7 runs. That was a 3.15 ERA over that 3-start stretch right there. And you're thinking, like, he looked like Logan Webb again. Like, all right, we got our ace back. Landon Roops looks like he's, coming into his own as a very good pitcher. And Robbie Ray walks aside, is still a very good pitcher. Like, you're thinking, wow, we might have a triple-headed monster atop this rotation. And then he gets roughed up against San Diego the other night, which, San Diego's a lineup that has flummoxed him in the past. Maybe that's part of it. You bring up the knee discomfort. He was thrown to a new catcher in Jesus Rodriguez. At the end of the day, he'll tell you that I just needed to be better. And that's why I respect Logan Webb. That's why I love Logan Webb so much. Is just no one takes more self-accountability than him. I mean, Dan, you were here for the Jimmy Garoppolo era. How many times were Niner fans pissed off at Jimmy for not taking self-accountability? Logan is almost the opposite. He kind of takes too much self-accountability at times.
I don't have an issue with Logan Webb right now. I know that a lot of people are like, yeah, ace, right, whatever. But I think that Logan Webb will be Logan Webb when it's all said and done. And I do think, and I'm not one of those that wants to defend and or make quote-unquote excuses, but I do think the knee is a little bit more problematic than he's leading on. And as we all know, in sports, but especially when it comes to pitching, that's where it all begins and ends, man.
Yeah.
It's your legs. And if you have knee issues, you begin to overcompensate with your arm slot, and it gets, it can get really, really difficult. So I want to believe that there's something physically amiss with him right now.
I mean, then you have to have a difficult conversation of, how do you get him to take an IL assignment like that? We'll see what his next start. His next start, I believe, is going to be Monday night in LA against the Dodgers. So, yikes on that one there. Hopefully he can have a bounce back. So I believe it's the right knee with Logan. Let me recount. Yes, it's the right knee there. So it's the knee that he's pushing off of when he throws. I've never been a pitcher. Steven Risotto, you've been a pitcher. How much are you using that right knee when you're pitching on the mound?
Yeah, go back to Reardon High School. Actually, take us back to the alumni game when you struck out a 7th grader from St. Emedius.
Yeah, the 7th graders. Now, the right knee as a right-handed pitcher is your push-off knee. It's a very important knee. It's both legs. Like I think it's overlooked if you've never done it before. If you've never thrown before, you might not know how involved your legs actually are. So your right knee is the push-off knee. It's where all the power comes from. It's the one that you rely on when you go into your wind-up and you push off and for explosiveness. So it is pretty important, I would say.
So,
I mean, when you look at pitchers, traditionally major league pitchers, when they're training, they're always running. It's always road work, or they're on a stationary bike. They're not doing curls. It's not. Yeah. The arm is important, but all of that strength,
it's not about muscle strength.
It comes from the lower body, the lower extremities, and specifically the legs.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was one year Noah Syndergaard tried to put on 15 pounds of muscle, up in the upper part of his body. Yeah, that guy. But that guy's side, he tried to put on all of this muscle up top, and his pitching just went down the tank because that's not what it's about. It's not about being the most muscular pitcher out there. It is, as you say, Dan, very much built from the lower body. So, again, I did see him wearing the brace yesterday. He'll tell you that it's fine. He's a tough guy. He's a bulldog. He's going to try and pitch through these things. But it is something, if he can't generate that power, because a big part of his game last year, Dan, was the strikeouts. He led the league in strikeouts last year for a guy who we call him a contact, pitch to contact pitcher. He kind of went against that last year and evolved his game a little bit. And the other thing is, I'm curious how much weight you put on this, Dan. I put a little bit, not a ton. Him being the WBC, getting ramped up a little bit quicker than usual. I pulled 20 random pitchers the other day who had participated in the WBC and just kind of compared their stats and how they've done. And some guys like Noel McLean have pitched pretty well. Chris Sanchez of the Phillies has pitched pretty well. Eduardo Rodriguez on the Diamondbacks, he's done pretty well. But then you got guys like There's Logan Webb, who struggled. Paul Skeens, who's pitched well, but, Paul Skeens has had like a sub-2 ERA the last couple of years. He's got an ERA in the 3s right now. And then, of course, there's Tarek Skubal, who was pitching great until his elbow started to fall apart. So you've had mixed results from the WBC participants here so far.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see addendums in contracts that you can't do that. Like, hey, listen, man. If you're gonna start seeing that, yeah, we'll give you the money, whatever it's an extension or it's a free agent. But when it comes to the WBC, we're not gonna go there.
Yeah, let me pull it up here. I got my full stats here.
He was good in the WBC.
No, he was. I mean, I think that was part of it. Like he wanted to be in a playoff atmosphere again because he hasn't had that. I know the Giants were very much against him participating in the WBC. I was willing to trust him to do it because I don't think there is a human being in that clubhouse that wants the Giants to win more than Logan Webb. It's why he's my favorite guy on this team right now because he is as much of a fan of this team as all the people in the stands are. He wants this team to win as much as the people in the stands do, if not more so. And that's a guy I'm always going to charge into battle behind. So he sets that tone for this team. And I was willing to trust him that, hey, you're going to take this risk. I trust that you've evaluated the pros and cons of this. And by going ahead with it, I'm trusting you not to let it blow up in your face. Hopefully he can start turning this around because I would hate the fact that he participated in the WBC to blow up in his face like it has been.
Well, it's a little bit more concerning to me, as bad as this team has been, that they haven't suffered any injuries. Usually, at least the Mets, as bad as it's gone for them.
Miller. But
I'm talking about frontline players, and you're going to get a pitcher hurt at some point. Yeah. That's just baseball, right? Yeah. So when you think about a team that gets off to the dismal start that they have to this point, and there are no excuses as far as any injuries because those things are imminent. So especially when it comes to the starting rotation, it's a little daunting. At least the Mets can hang their hat on, well, when we get healthy, it'll be a different story because they've had just about everybody out at some point. So a little scary when it comes to the Giants.
Again, Rizzo just jumped my ear. That was kind of an issue last year. Again, at some point, the injury I'm most worried about is, obviously just the ones you don't see coming. I'm not going to try and predict those ones. But like a guy like Matt Chapman, again, I know he struggled with the bat to start the season right now. Defensively, he's had moments, but I still trust him defensively, I think, more than I would probably any other third baseman right now. But he's good for a bump in the road at some point, and he's a guy that when he gets hurt, it's tough when he comes back. It takes a while to get going again. So no, that's a very good point there.
The only thing I would save in grace there is the emergence of Casey Schmidt, who could play every day at third base and seems to hit better when he's playing third base for whatever reason.
He just seems to hit better, period, these days.
I saw somewhere statistically that when he's playing third base, his average goes up substantially.
Well, I think, a lot of guys, I think Rafi's kind of similar, DH versus first base. That's kind of why the whole, what do you do with Bryce Eldridge conversation? Do you DH him or do you put him at first base? Like, the Giants got some interesting bottleneck going on here at some of these positions. Let's talk a little bit about Willy Adames on the other side, what you do with him. Dan, he had his first multi-hit game since April 17th last night. I don't know if that's a good sign, a one-off. He also had a near home run last night, too. The San Francisco weather said, not today, like there was Takete Mutombo. So we'll get into that on the other side. We'll hear from Buster Posey on the other side. It's the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. Dan Devone, Sam Lubman, brought to you by Fremont Bank. Here for you, here for good.
Welcome to the Bay, buddy.
All right, I need avocados, bananas, salad, steak.
Wow, does your grocery list have multiple pages?
No, but I skipped lunch, so now it's like my stomach is doing the grocery shopping. And besides, I'm earning cash back with Upside.
Upside? What's that?
Hold up, you haven't heard of it? Upside is a free app that gets you cash back when you shop at gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants. And they added Lucky and Food Max stores, so we're pretty much covered wherever we go.
All those stores?
Yep, so not only are we getting a great deal on groceries, now we can earn cash back as well.
Okay, downloading Upside. Now let me copy your grocery list.
Great news! Lucky and Food Max are now on Upside. Download the Upside app and use the promo code SAVE9 to earn a 10% cashback bonus on your first grocery purchase. That's promo code SAVE9 for a 10% cashback bonus. Use promo code SAVE9.
Offers vary by user and location at participating merchants. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
checked Allstate first and saved hundreds on my car insurance. Really smart. Unfortunately, I didn't check if I took the gas hose out of my car's tank. Ooh, not smart. And I drove off while still attached to pump number 3.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Potential savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a hospitality manager at a 5-star hotel.
So I just checked into room 318, but someone was in there. Room 318. Oh, you were supposed to be booked in 813, which is now booked. So what do we do? How about rock, paper, scissors for who gets the bid?
This is a job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
So, how's your research going?
Surprising. After I figured out the top-rated TVs in our price range, I went shopping for deals.
And who's the best?
It wasn't the internet, and it wasn't the warehouse club.
But?
It was video only. They had better deals on the Samsung, LG, and the Sony TVs that got the highest scores.
Better than online and at the club?
I know. Video only beat them all. And now we can afford an even better model for the same price. My research really paid off.
If we buy it video only.
Exactly. Otherwise, we'll be sorry.
At Video Only, you won't find huge stores with refrigerators or microwaves, but you will find the best deals on top-rated TVs, soundbars, and monitors. Shop around. Just make sure you visit Video Only, because if you don't,
you'll be sorry.
In Mountain View, San Mateo, Union City, Dublin, and San Rafael. Video Only.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this. What if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi, it would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber, connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
Hey, life doesn't give you a warning when everything changes. It starts with shock, confusion, and 1,000 questions running through your mind. Maybe it's a car accident, a serious injury, or a tragedy that changes your family forever. Suddenly, you're dealing with insurance companies' paperwork and pressure, all while trying to heal. That's where Beam Law comes in. They take on the legal fight, the negotiations, and the stress, so you can focus on recovery and taking care of the people who matter most. Beam Law is local, and they've recovered millions for clients across the region. That's why SF Weekly has named them Best of the Bay 4 times. So if you've been hurt or lost someone because of someone else's negligence, call Beam Law at 415-523-5555, 415-523-5555. That's 415-523-5555. Or visit hurtinthebay.com. That's hurtinthebay.com, because it's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get back up. Beam Law. They've got your back, Bay Area.
At Target, finding something for every kind of mom and every side of mom just got easier. Does she love fashion? Take 20% off select women's clothing and accessories and find a dress she'll love to wear. Is she into the outdoors? Freshen up her favorite spot with up to 40% off planters, pillows, and poofs. Or keep it classic. Fresh tulips for just $12 and a Dossier fragrance trio for $32. Whatever mom is into, we've got it. Celebrate mom her way, only at Target. Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
standing, and the greeting at home plate for Patrick Bailey. Boy, did that kid need that.
Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Dwayne Kuiper and Mike Kruk on the call last year as that was the walk-off grand slam that Patrick Bailey had against the Dodgers. One of the few pretty big memories that we had of Patrick Bailey, who got traded this morning to the Cleveland Guardians for the number 29 pick in the draft, which is a competitive balance draft pick. That's why you're allowed to trade it. And for Matt Tugboat Wilkinson. And Dan, I looked up our guy, Matt Tugboat Wilkinson. He might be as big as a tugboat. This kid is 6'1", 270 pounds.
You like that? You like that?
What an absolute... I'll be honest, I'm seeing two weight listings here. I'm seeing 270 on one, 250 on MLB's website, but I like 270.
That's
more.
Daniel Vogelbach territory.
I mean, I guess if you average it out, that's 260. I mean, what an absolute unit of a human being.
Sure you're not misconstruing like that's the offensive lineman that the 49ers drafted?
I mean,
in the bathroom.
Steven. I don't know. He's had more. Giants have added more beef than the Niners apparently have with this move. He's got the same birthday as I do as well, December 10th, albeit 2002, not 1992. So that'd be cool. I got another birthday buddy on the list.
I like bigger players. They crack me up, man.
Myself, Kevin Dana, Carlos Rodon, and Matt Wilkinson.
Right on.
December 10th, buddies. He's Canadian, Dan. He's from Vancouver.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah,
Still a European, man.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Vancouver?
Are you kidding me? I lived in Seattle. I was like, that was my home away from home.
There you go. So how's your quick weekend getaway?
I'm trying to think of, there's been some good Canadian pitchers through the years.
Jameson Tallion's the first one that, isn't Jameson Tallion? Yeah, he's Canadian, right? Tallien?
Tyone,
that's how you say it?
Remember Eric Bedard back in the day?
Really? Was he Canadian?
I believe so.
I did not know that.
Eric Bedard, former Baltimore Orioles?
Yeah, no, I remember him. I guess I could just look up Team Canada from the WBC if they had a team.
Larry Walker?
Larry Walker was Canadian. That is correct. Actually, know who's Canadian is Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Oh, yeah, well, because of his old man.
Because his dad was playing with the Expos when he was born. So there you go. So, yeah, we have our...
You see what Vlad Guerrero, and I want to say a group of players, as well as somebody's interpreter, will do before the start of a baseball game. They huddle and they talk about things that they're thankful for in the dugout.
Oh.
Sort of, yeah.
I wonder if the Giants would ever do that.
No.
We should do that.
We should do that before the show. We should do that before every episode of the Morning Roast.
I am thankful for Dan Devone.
There you go.
There you go. I'm thankful for Dan Devone, too. I guess I have something. We all have
I'm
something
thankful
different.
for me. There we go.
All right. This works out. I like it. This kid Wilkinson in 6 starts so far this year, 28 innings pitched in the minor leagues, a 1.59 ERA, a .92 whip, 36 strikeouts, again, in 28 innings. His career in the minor leagues, 55 starts, 252 innings pitched, 330 strikeouts, a 1.10 whip. This dude throws some gas if he's striking out guys.
That size, he better.
So be curious to see. So he is in Double-A right now. I believe he was the Guardians' 13th ranked prospect. Steven, can you corroborate that?
13th, according to MLB.com.
There you go. So Giants adding some depth to their farm system as well. And they get the draft pick on top of that, Dan. Again, we're talking about building up the farm system through the draft. Giants now have 2 first-rounders. And it's a great way to get the farm system going that Buster has done a pretty good job, I think, of building up.
Well, really quick, and I will get off of this. So he has to go a ways to catch the fattest pitchers of all time. I shouldn't say use that word. But CC Sabathia leads the way. This is the three bill club. So
okay, so he was like what, 310?
He was 320. Remember Jumbo Diaz, who I don't know, is 315.
Really quick on CC. Remember when he was on
Bartolo Colon country. Well, he was 285, so he's got a ways to catch him, but he's sort of in the neighborhood.
He's the sexiest fat pitcher out there, as they say. You remember when CC was on the Brewers and him and Prince Fielder were on the team together? And Prince looked tiny next to CC Sabathia. Prince Fielder, who himself was a very round human being.
Yes. So is his old man.
Cecil.
271. Wow. All right. Well, where is he? Is he going? Is he going to get assigned to Double-A?
I am not sure yet. I haven't seen that yet. I don't know if we'll go to Double-A or, you know what, heck, let's just get him right on to Triple-A, because if we're being real, I mean, Trevor McDonald looked good when he was called up on Monday, but Carson Whisenhunt and Carson Seymour have been putting up, ERAs in the 4s down in the PCL, which, again, that's a more hitter-friendly league. So, your ERAs and batting averages are going to be a little bit more inflated. But I've not been blown away yet by Whisenhunt. I think Seymour's a solid back of the rotation starter. This is all to say, Dan, I mean, again, like Trevor McDonald, I think their pitching depth in the farm system could use a little extra. Let's go heft here.
Would you be comfortable? We talked just to bring it back to Logan Webb. If you were to give Logan Webb a start or two off and bring up Trevor McDonald. Because McDonald has been it's really weird. It's not as though he came out of nowhere. He was with the team in 2024.
No, so he had his debut in 24 against the Cardinals. He went 3 hitless innings against the Cardinals. Came up last year, 3 appearances last year. Was great in all 3 of those appearances, including that 6th-inning appearance in Dodger Stadium, where he went 6 innings, gave up 1 run in the middle of September. He's a guy, every time he's come up, he's dazzled on the mound. I actually don't hate that, Dan. If you did have to put Logan Webb on the 10-day IL, have him miss a couple starts to make sure he can get that knee right, I would be absolutely okay with slotting Trevor McDonald into that rotation, because I think a lot of Giants fans were a little frustrated when Trevor McDonald had that start on Monday that he had and then immediately got sent back down the next day.
Well, they have to make room. But yeah, it would make sense, because what's weird about him is that in the minors, he's good, but it's not as though you expect to do what it is that he's done when he's had his opportunities at the major league level.
No, he is absolutely dazzled at the major league level, and I think I get why they sent him down. They want to keep him as a starter. It seems like they don't want to do this little swingman thing that they've done with guys in the past. They did it with Birdsong. They've tried to do it with Harrison. They've done it with Carson Seymour. They haven't done it with Whisenhunt yet, I don't believe, but it seems like they want to just keep Trevor as a full-time starter, which, there's not really an opening for that right now. Roop and Ray are dealing. Hauser and Malley are healthy. Logan Webb is Logan Webb. So, but yeah, if you are looking for a way to do that, maybe you do got to give Logan a start or 2 off. We'll see how he does on Monday night against the Dodgers, because you're going to give Logan a chance to make his case for himself before you go about putting him on the injured list.
Dodgers taking on the Braves this weekend, the 2 best teams in baseball. And the reason why I mention that is just getting back to why sometimes it's just baseball. As much as we want to figure out why, and point a finger, this is what's wrong, and screw Buster, and the hell with Tony Vitello, and Devers sucks. Look at the Atlanta Braves, essentially the same team of a year ago. And it was a good team last year with Matt Olson and company, and they were terrible. And you're like, why can't you hit? What's wrong with you? And they got Hassan Kim, I think, at shortstop, and Mike Yastrzemski, who's not doing
they got Dom Smith, too.
But, essentially, it's the same baseball team, and look at them this year. So sometimes a lot of this stuff just doesn't make sense, as much as we want to understand why.
Dan, you mentioned the Braves here, and unfortunately, I have to bring up some unfortunate breaking news. Bobby Cox has passed away today.
Oh, wow, the legend from Central Valley, I want to say, from Selma, California.
Yep, old number 6. He had the record for most ejections by a manager. Oh. And a record he got against the Giants, actually. It was a game against the Giants where he got the record-setting ejection. I think John McGraw had the record before him. And with the way things are with replay challenges,
it's pretty safe.
In ABS, I think that's one of those records that will stand the test of time there. So
don't give Aaron Boone that challenge.
But yeah, Bobby Cox, let me do some quick math, 85 years old. I'll be honest, I thought he was 85 this entire time, if I'm being real.
Looked like 85.
That's a guy, the first time I saw him, like, that guy was born an old man.
Have you guys seen Sparky Anderson at age 35?
Did he look like Bobby Cox?
He looked like he was in his 60s.
With the gray hair?
Yeah.
Well, in fairness, everybody was smoking cigarettes and, from the day they were born back then, so everyone aged a lot faster.
Well, just think about this. Sparky Anderson died in 2010. He was 77 years old.
Wow.
In 2010.
Wow.
Man, so yeah, rest in peace.
Those teams were so good.
Those Bobby Cox teams.
Oh, God.
Oh, my. Those Braves teams scared the absolute poop out of me.
The pitching that they had.
Maddox, Glavin, Smoltz.
Avery.
And that offense they had. Both the Chipper, Andrew Jones, Rafael Furcal. Who was the catcher?
How many consecutive years did they win the division?
Javi Lopez,
yeah. The other Javi Lopez.
Can you look that up?
15 years, I think.
Is it 15?
I think it was 91 to 2005. They won the division every year.
Wow.
Except I don't think they don't count 94, obviously.
14 straight from 91 to 2005.
Okay, yeah. So, 14
Bobby
straight.
Cox was the guy for all of those, too.
Mm-hmm. So
R.I.P. Bobby. Selma, California. I know this because I started my sportscasting career in Fresno, and during the off season, I did a show with him because he was in the area playing golf.
Yeah, so that's a very. You know what? I'll always remember it was 2010 was, I believe, his last year managing. And the Giants obviously eliminated the Braves in the division series that year. And Bobby came out to take a curtain call, and the Giants came out of the dugout and did it as well.
Right on.
And they sent him off. And so, one of the truly great managers out there. And he is a guy who I think is synonymous with Atlanta sports.
Remember that? The Braves used to be in the National League West.
That's wild. God, divisions used to make no sense. Speaking of guys who made their name in the state of Georgia, Buster Posey. He chatted with Alex Pavlich.
That's a hell of a segue, by the way.
Yeah, you're right.
Don't want that to go unnoticed.
Yeah. He chatted with Alex Pavlich and Kyla Mills on the Giants Talk podcast, part of NBC Sports Bay Area's Giants coverage. And they asked him all litany of questions, starting off with Buster. What's been the biggest frustration with this season?
I mean, offense is obviously the one that we're all pointing to, and rightfully so. The biggest thing for me, I've been saying it for a while now, it feels like our guys are trying to go get everything back in one swing or one at bat. And I'm just a firm believer that you really just have to compartmentalize and try your best to chip away. And hopefully that's a place that we're going to get. And look, in all reality, we're going to need our veteran players that hit in the middle of our order to help lead us out of this. I mean, we're going to have them be productive for us to get out of this funk that we're in.
So again, that was talking about the biggest frustrations there and pointing to the pressing, Dan, and we kind of mentioned it at times in this show. There's been a lot of pressing on this team. I think you've seen it from your three biggest hitters on this team, Rafi Devers, Matt Chapman, Willie Adames, especially Willie Adames sometimes, who it feels like he's trying to hit a 6-run home run with some of the swings he's taking.
Well, he looked good last night. And I think that's a good jumping off point. He really did square the only couple of outs he made, of course, it was that good catch he got robbed of extra bases in left field yesterday. I think that when you think about Bryce Eldridge now coming up, who is, it's sort of unfair to him, but you're supposed to be the savior. Shot in the arm, we need you. Team stinks, and here you come. I think that this is going to be, whether it's Buster Posey, but I'm going to put this on Tony Vitello, where for the first time I think Tony Vitello is really going to get challenged because I think that if Bryce Eldridge is going to play, and we all know this, it's where is he going to get his at-bats? And I think along with Casey Schmidt, these guys have got to play. Like, you didn't bring Eldridge up here to sit. So now everything that Tony Vitello has done up to this point, I don't really have an issue with, but I think it's now where he's sort of putting on his big boy pants. Because I think he has to sit in a room. He's got to get Chapman. He's got to get Adames. He's got to get Devers. And maybe even Arise and say, listen, guys, we're going to rotate this, but we're going to sit you, okay? And it's not a reflection on, obviously, you're going to play throughout the season, but I need to get at-bats, and you have Casey Schmidt one day at third, one day at short, one day at second, one day at first, but that's what has to happen going forward.
Yeah, I feel like that was kind of the message that Buster was sending to the team this week, in that he made the move to bring up Bryce and Jesus. That was the kind of the shot across the bow that, hey, there's new guys here who are willing to play, but and Andrew Bagley wrote about this in The Athletic. He had Tony address the team about it. And Tony talked about it before the game on Tuesday night, basically being like, these guys are here to play. And some of these, if we could find it, Steve, I think we pulled it, the sound from Monday night, what Tony said about getting some of these guys in the lineup here. I'm pretty sure we pulled, I'll have him do that. That's his job as producer. I've been in that position before.
Quit slacking.
He basically said, guys are going to have to set their ego aside here a little bit. And that to me was the message that, some of you veteran guys who are making big money, you're going to be not in the lineup in some of these games. And Matt Chapman was on the bench that night as an off day. And I think a lot of people were surprised by that, Dan. But what I think is kind of more surprising is Willie Adames and Rafi Devers have been in the lineup every day since that, though. With Rafi, it makes sense. He's on an 8-game hitting streak. He's hit home runs in the last 2 games. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, I mean, he's hitting fastballs down the middle now. So he's improving there. Willie, though, it's been more of a grind, though, up until last night. This would be a lot easier conversation to have if he went 0 for last night. Luckily, he did not. But I've said, Dan, Willie Adames can solve so many problems this year by just being good at baseball again.
Again, last night, I don't think we can overlook it. We can't be dismissive. It looked good, and we're always looking for signs, right? And it's usually right about now when he starts to put it into another gear. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We got the sound?
Yeah, so here is what, there it is. Here's what Tony said on Monday night about getting Bryce into the lineup while resting the veterans.
The conversation that we've had with you guys is about keeping guys fresh. You know, it's a little bit of a conundrum. You want to keep guys fresh throughout the season, but what winning does is it buys you room for error, if that's the right way to say it. It buys you a little more freedom to try this or try that, whether it relate to pitching or position players. And, you know, we haven't really had that to this point. Well, it's time to drop our guard down and get a fresh start to the season and just talk about today. And one thing that we're going to do is kind of sort out the puzzle of how do we involve everybody. And the negative to that is going to be, you call it ego or pride or whatever, or guys just eager to get out there to find the best version of themselves. There's going to be days where they're not playing. But the benefit of that is when they are playing, they're not going to have any excuses, and not that they have, but they're going to be fresh of mind and fresh of body.
And Dan, I look at Willie and Rafi here on this one. Willie Adames likes playing the full 162. He played 161 games last year. Rafi Devers played 163 games last year because of how the schedule shook out between him getting traded from the Red Sox to the Giants. And there's a part of me, Dan, I appreciate the players who do want to play the full 162. It's a great accomplishment. You love to have these guys on the lineup. But at the same time, like, that's a privilege. It's a privilege to be in the lineup every day. And an example I used with Steven Risotto on the Garlic Fries and Baseball Guys podcast the other day in regards to Willie Adames, I compared him to Brandon Crawford, who is, you know, he's the best shortstop in Giants history. I think we can all agree on that. In the 2 seasons where Crawford got MVP votes, 2016 and 2021, those were his age 29 and age 34 seasons. He played 155 games and 138 games, respectively. Even when Crawford was at his best, he was not even playing the full 162 because you do have to give these guys a day off. And I do wonder if it is a situation where maybe you do got to scale back Willie and Rafi's playing time a little bit because they're not as young as they used to be. They're 29 going on 30 years old. Rafi's been in the big leagues for 10 years. Willie's been in the big leagues for 7 or 8 years. There's wear and tear on the body. I do think this could be a situation where you can spell it out as we're going to have you guys take a day off here or there, get you off your legs. Maybe you do it on a day where it's a getaway day, so you give them 2 straight days off. And by keeping them fresh there, that keeps them fresher on the field. And in a sense, can also maybe keep them fresher in the mind a little bit too, so they're not thinking every day, oh, I got to get out of the slump. Oh, I got to get out of the slump. I think there is something to be said about giving these guys mental resets throughout the season too to kind of help them get back on track.
I'll take it a step further. That was the same year Buster Posey, I won't use the word load manage, but much like that of Brandon Crawford, he and Kirk Casale essentially would split time. I remember that Posey would take, because that was Gabe Kapler. Remember back in the day, that was 2021 when they won the division. And what do you got?
What was that, Steven?
I was just going to say that Posey sat every third day.
Remember that?
So that was the schedule that he was on with the training staff and Kapler.
And, of course, we all know what happened in 2021. So there's something to be said about that. Also, I would also add that that's not the player's call at the end of the day. We appreciate it. We'll take it into account. But there is a pecking order in terms of authoritative voices in this locker room. And as much as I want to be a player coach, we're going to do it my way. And while I'll take into account what it is that you say, if I say you sit, you sit.
Yeah. And again, I mean, Matt Chapman, I think, is the poster child, I think, for guys who put that work ethic in every day. Even he's not a full 162 guy. You know, he even takes days off. And that's kind of an interesting thing we've seen from Tony Vitello is how he utilizes his bench or lack thereof. I mean, I think there was a stretch where he had, for 2 weeks, he had the same 9 guys in the lineup every day. And it's wild that we're complaining about this, Dan. I mean, how often are we complaining about Farhan Zaidi and Gabe Kapler's Giants having different lineups every day and platooning? We just wanted something consistent. And now we have we've kind of overcorrected. We're almost too consistent with this lineup now, where it's just like, no, let's get Christian Koss in the lineup. Let's see what Gerard can do. You know, let's get Drew Gilbert in the lineup. Of course, that happened once Harrison Bader got injured.
Or Casey Schmidt.
Yeah, I mean, where are you going to find a spot for Casey Schmidt?
Eldridge. Like, if you had this exact same situation in 2021 or 2022 with Gabe Kapler, you would just easy. We'll just sit guys and we'll platoon because that's what we do.
We'll do the line change halfway through.
It's funny how far we've come in the last 5 years. And also to compound things is, remember those teams back in the day when you had Farhan, whether it was him and his data and or Gabe Kapler, but they were amongst the league leaders in walks. In 2021, I want to say they were second or third in Major League Baseball in walks. Yeah. We all know it was part of the recipe.
Well, I mean, that whole year, I think, is just so many things happen that just haven't been able to repeat. It's hard to really look at that year and see if you could take anything away from that year and apply it. But
but I do think you're right. Yeah, because every button they pushed were pinch hit home runs, and you're just like,
they could not have missed on move.
You can't scale that, right?
Yeah.
But I do believe that there was some structure and a system in place in terms of walks. Like they did look like it wasn't by accident they went out and got Lamont Wade, who was DFA'd from Minnesota. He was sort of like their Scott Hatterberg. They had a sort of player that they were looking for that would go deep into accounts because it was something that they would emphasize structurally. And right now we've gotten so far away from that.
Yeah. Risotto in my year, they had the third most walks in baseball.
Oh, what
year.
Did I say?
I think you said first or second, so you're still pretty on point. Buster Posey, again, going back to the Giants Talk podcast, did talk about the young guys getting into the lineup at the expense of the veterans, which is something that, him and Tony are going to have to figure out how to do.
Yeah, that's how we envision it. Casey has been playing well, and I don't think he should be punished because others have not played well. So yeah, it's going to be a little bit of mixing and matching and trying to get some of the matchups that are favorable for us with Casey in there. And he's shown in the past that he can move around the field and play some different positions. So right now, that's how I see it transpiring.
So I thought that was kind of an interesting word that he used there also in the process. He doesn't want Casey to get punished.
Yeah.
When that quote initially came out, Alex Pavlovich tweeted that out. There wasn't any sound of it at the time, but he tweeted it out. That one caused a stir because it was just like, oh, are we going to be punishing some of these veteran hitters here? Are we going to be sitting them? Of course, that hasn't really happened since then. Chapman's been in the lineup except for that night. Haven't seen it from Willie Adames yet. Again, Willie will probably be in the lineup today after the 2 hits yesterday. But I do think we're at a point, Dan, where I would be fine with giving Willie Adames a day off like once a week or once every other week, scaling back that playing time. I love that he's in the lineup every day, but it might be one of those things where maybe you have to kind of protect your player from himself a little bit and take him out of the lineup every now and then to keep him fresh so that he can kind of still stay fresh and able to produce later on in the year and maybe not be as susceptible to some of these hot and cold streaks that he's been going through.
Well, I think the bottom line is Casey Schmidt has to play every day.
Right now, yeah. I guess we're talking about giving guys rest.
Yeah, and so that's sort of where you find yourselves. Before we just move off of Buster Posey, a guy that we're just beginning to build his resume, but these things are beginning to add up a little bit here because I think it's important to keep an eye on Kyle Harrison. We talked about James Tibbs. We know how bad it's gone with Devers here. It's interesting. It's still very early. Another guy that I know that they were in on was this kid Murakami.
Oh, Mutenka Murakami.
I mean, this dude, I do remember distinctly because, I have some, Asian blood running through these veins. And anytime there's a Japanese player, I'm like, oh, yeah, who's this guy? And I do remember the Giants specifically being in the hunt for Murakami, and it was Buster Posey that passed on this guy. So just, again, when we sort of compile Buster Posey and sort of the moves that he's made or has not made, he was definitely in a Murakami. Murakami was in on the San Francisco Giants, but the Giants decided to go in a different direction, and this dude is blowing it up. He has almost as many home runs as the Giants do as a team.
Mm-hmm. And we'll be seeing him Memorial Day weekend when the White Sox are in town.
They're good this year.
As some people would say, they'd rather be the White Sox. We'll keep this conversation going on the other side. What Buster Posey said about bringing up Bryce Eldridge, we'll get into that. And then it is Mother's Day this weekend. Dan, I'm curious if you have any baseball memories with your mom. I'll ask you that at some point as well in the final hour. That's Dan Devone. I'm Sam Lubman. It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap, and it's brought to you by Fremont Bank, here for you, here for good.
Hosting this spring? The Great Greek Mediterranean Grill has you covered. Serving award-winning authentic dishes prepared fresh. Dine in or place an order at thegreatgreekgrill.com. For a chance to win a gift card courtesy of the Great Greek Mediterranean Grill, visit 957thegame.com.
Donate your home, land, or commercial property and help Stand Up to Cancer fund innovative cancer research. Stand Up to Cancer makes the process easy and it may be tax deductible. Visit standuptocancer.org/giveproperty to learn more.
Big matches, big moments, big rewards. This May, donate blood with Stanford Blood Center and score 2 free soccer tickets to a San Jose Earthquakes match. Guaranteed. Plus, you could win the ultimate VIP soccer match. 4 sideline seats to a world global game. Plus premium food and drinks and exclusive access to live entertainment. Don't miss your shot. Give blood. Get rewarded. Make an impact. Visit StanfordBloodCenter.org today.
In the market for a new mattress but overwhelmed by all the options? At Mattress Firm, we make it easy. Just drop in, answer a few questions, and our sleep experts will guide you to your perfect mattress. And with options for every budget, it's no wonder more shoppers choose Mattress Firm than any other mattress specialty retailer. And now save up to $1,000 on a Tempur-Pedic split king system, plus get a $300 instant gift. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
At Target, finding something for every kind of mom and every side of mom just got easier. Does she love fashion? Take 20% off select women's clothing and accessories and find a dress she'll love to wear. Is she into the outdoors? Freshen up her favorite spot with up to 40% off planters, pillows, and poofs. Or keep it classic. Fresh tulips for just $12 and a Dossier fragrance trio for $32. Whatever mom is into, we've got it. Celebrate mom her way, only at Target. Restrictions apply.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wait! Before you change the station, listen to this.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Pickup is quick and easy. You'll also get a vacation voucher and a tax deduction.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. Donate your car today. I need a little ranch, step to the ranch, come on, meet me at the ranch.
Introducing the new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club Sandwich. With that juicy Chick-fil-A chicken on a buttermilk ranch bun, jalapeno ranch sauce, and pickled jalapenos, it's a little ranch with a lot of kick. The new Chick-fil-A Jalapeno Ranch Club with original spicy or grilled filet. Available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/team. That's ZipRecruiter.com/team.
ZipRecruiter. Don't miss your chance to see the legendary Boz Scaggs on his Rhythm Review Tour. He'll be performing live on September 23rd at the Masonic. Buy your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. And for a chance to win tickets courtesy of Live Nation, visit the contest page at 957thegame.com.
I keep seeing celebrities posts, me in the 90s versus now. Well, the person staring at me in the mirror is definitely not the same person that could pull off bootcut jeans. Time creeps up on us so slowly. You don't see it until suddenly you do. Same thing goes for your bills. $1 here, an uptick there. It's a slow burn until one day you realize the price you're paying now is way higher than when you signed up. But at T-Mobile, customers had the lowest wireless bills versus Verizon and AT&T over the past 5 years. And with T-Mobile on their experience plans, you get a 5-year price guarantee, so you know exactly what your plan price will be for the next 5 years. So at least that's one thing that won't change over time. I can't guarantee you'll still look good with frosted tips, but T-Mobile can give you a clear guarantee on your wireless plan.
Lower bills based on Harris X billing snapshots from Q3 21 to Q4 25 compared to average AT&T and Verizon bills. Comparison excludes discounts, credits, and optional charges. Price guarantee on talk, text, and data exclusions like taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM in HD1 San Francisco on Odyssey Sports Station. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Now back to the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
Is that on my behalf, Pasta?
It is the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. That is Dan Devone. I am Sam Lum. About an hour left to go here talking all things Giants. 888-957-9570. Patrick Bailey is heading to Cleveland. Oh, that's sad when you say it that way.
Thought he was going to Hawaii with this music.
You'll be joining Stephen Vogt and Stephen Kwan and Jose Ramirez on the Cleveland Guardians roster. And my guess is, who's the other catcher? Austin Hedges, another really good defensive catcher. I'm sure Cleveland will figure out a way to fix Patrick Bailey.
Bo Naylor got sent down to AAA. He was the regular catcher.
Oh, okay. So it'll probably be, Hedges and Bailey then for that.
God, Naylor was the guy who was mentioned in trade talks a year ago coming to San Francisco and replacing Patrick Bailey.
Vaguely remember that.
Maybe that was also his brother Josh, who's the power hitting first baseman.
That's the one. It was Josh Naylor. That's the one who.
Don't get wise, young fella.
That was the guy who Mitch in New Jersey wanted last year. Yeah, go get Josh Naylor.
What's poppin'?
Yeah, can we go get? Was that Richie in Queens? I'm surprised you haven't heard from Richie yet this morning.
It was definitely Mitch. Richie doesn't go near the Saturday show.
Do those two know each other?
Yeah, they're neighbors. We've had Richie on the weekend wrap before, haven't we?
Everybody's terrible.
Maybe if we talk about JT Brubaker, I'm sure we'll get Richie to call in.
Brubaker?
If Richie calls in this week, I'm going to have some words for him. I'm going to need him to call in on the weekend
wrap. Who is this idiot? Or who is this guy?
Richie in Queens.
Oh,
you play it again?
Brubaker?
No, he called in. This was during the Reds series when Brubaker got lit up by the Reds. He called in the next morning just incensed that they would go to a guy like
Brubaker?
Yeah.
He also called in one time during the morning show and was on hold for about 45 minutes. And when he finally got on, he said, "Hold on, everybody. I have to go. I have to go get this cancer removed from my face."
Holy Christmas.
So he had a procedure and then called right back after the procedure and gave off his Giants take.
Richie in Queens. That's a gamer right there.
What is it with these people from the East Coast?
They live differently.
Sort of strange.
They live differently out there. Buster Posey was asked on Monday on the Giants Talk podcast about Patrick Bailey.
Well, I mean, I think I'll answer it in a way that's similar to how I think about our offensive players need to go about their job right now. I think for us, we're really just going to have to go day to day and evaluate day to day. And so I think Patty would tell you that he knows that there's more in there, more capability in there with the bat. Unfortunately, haven't seen it, so we're going to have to, get some different looks right now.
I wonder if at that point, because Bailey only got in the lineup as a defensive replacement from that point on, I wonder if Buster kind of made the decision at that moment, like, yeah, I'm going to be shipping Bailey out of here soon. We're not going to be putting him in the lineup for the next few days.
It sounds like it. Here's a question. Did they have was he out of options in terms of getting sent down? Not that I don't know if that would do any good.
I am not sure. I can.
Was it an option to option him? I guess is the best way to phrase it.
If you give me about 14 more seconds, I can probably tell you. Actually, I can tell you even less than that. Patrick Bailey is not on their depth chart anymore. Dang, I wasn't fast enough. Give me a second here to pull up the Cleveland depth chart, and I can see if Fangraphs has.
I want to say that he could have been sent down.
He has all options remaining.
Okay, so he could have then. All right. Then that's interesting, the fact they didn't want to send him down and try and work things out and try and figure out things. Or maybe they just figure this is just what he is offensively, and they're not going to get anything better out of it. But at the same time, they do need some pitching in their minor league system. So,
yeah, I think that's the case. I think minor league assignments and having guys sent down and what he's going to work on his hitting, it's not going to do anything.
No, and again, I still come back to the fact that defensively, so much of his game was built around the pitch framing that, again, I think that's going to get slowly phased out over the next few years as ABS becomes more and more prominent. Still had the good pop time, still had great arm strength. Challenging was not really good for him this year. He was whiffing on some really bad challenges behind the plate. And that was something we thought was going to be a strength of his this year because of his understanding the strike zone. And Dan, I actually had a chance to catch up with him in spring training about it, and he kind of explained the complexities of it. And it took me a second to get it. It went over my head the first time, but basically it's a little bit harder to kind of figure out the strike zone this year because an umpire has just kind of one, strike zone. It's like changing a little bit because it's, an umpire is looking for an invisible box. But for the most part, good umpires are going to have a consistent strike zone. With ABS, it's actually harder, though, because the strike zone is tailored to the batter in the batter's box. And every batter, obviously, is a different height. It's, bobbing the knees to below the letters. The knees and the letters are going to be in different spots for every hitter. So it's a little bit of a more difficult strike zone to track a little bit because every hitter has a different strike zone, basically. That is all to say, again, Giants have been one of the worst defensively challenging teams in baseball this year. And a lot of that is Patrick Bailey, who has been the one who has been given a green light to make those calls. Yeah, and again, and I mentioned this earlier, that with ABS, the strike zone has become smaller, which should make it easier to walk. And that certainly hasn't been the case with the San Francisco Giants. Just sort of curious your thoughts overall on ABS. I think it's been working so far. It has an entertainment quality, I will say. There is a build-up to it. I mean, there are times where, again, a lot of these games, you're watching them, the box is still there. And so you see a guy, take a pitch and it's called a strike, and you see him, rub the helmet. You're just like, no, don't do that. And then it ends up getting confirmed, and then you're out of challenge. I think I'd probably enjoy it more if the Giants were better. I think the Giants are in like one of the 3 or 4 worst teams on both sides of the ball when it comes to these challenges. I mean, Willie Adames has had some bad ones. I mean, Drawer had the one in Tampa on Sunday that just, that was the final nail in the coffin for him. So, it's, again, I'm kind of reluctantly accepting it. I'm an old-fashioned guy when it comes to baseball. I like the human element in the game. I like the fact that it's a flawed game played by flawed people. The whole concept of baseball is failure in a sense. The most successful hitters ever are successful 30% of the time. So it's like this game is built on struggle and failure and being humbled by it. And I feel like this introduction of the technology to it it's taking that out of the ethos of baseball. And that's just not what I feel the game is about. And that's my old man yells at cloud take. No, I like the fact that you have an old soul there because I couldn't agree more. I think it's really pissing off home plate umpires. I really do. I bet if we were to get them in a room, they're just like, I don't like this at all. They just seem more just cantankerous than ever before. Well, I think they see the writing on the wall. They know Major League Baseball is trying to get rid of them. Well, I think it's that simple. But I think in the here and now, they just don't like being shown up. And essentially that's what's happening. Well, no, I think it's not that they're being shown up, Dan, is that they're being shown the door. Yeah, no, eventually. But I think also in the here and now, they're just like, this, screw you. Yeah. They're just like... Oh, absolutely. Again, if I was being phased out, I would be screw you to you too. I mean, Dan, we're in this age of AI, like I was dating this girl a while ago and where she worked, she worked in sales and they were, working. Are you no longer dating? No. 888-957-9570 for anyone who's interested. Oh, I thought you were soliciting women to date. But she worked in sales, and they were using this AI program to kind of augment their sales thing. And she told me at one point, it's like, I feel like I'm straight up teaching AI how to do my job. And I'm thinking like, wow, that's probably a lot of people. And that's absolutely horrifying. Like the amount of jobs that, like we're here in talk radio, Dan. I like to think that AI can't replicate that. But at the same time, AI can make fake people. AI can make fake voices. And Sam, I think you're pretty safe. There's only one. Well, I don't know. I mean, AI can grow out some pretty good hair, I'm sure, too. So
I have a quick thought real quick on ABS. And it was to Dan's point about the human element. And here's one thing that goes unnoticed. Like we always talk about being perfect and everything needs to be perfect. And Sam, to your point about the AI being introduced in the world, everything is beginning to need to be perfect. And home plate umpires, people forget this, are really, really good. Like, they are constantly getting above 95% on their game logs. I know the internet ones aren't the ones that they get after games, but, it's just an indicator on how good they're. Some of them are, and even the bad ones are like low 90%. So it's not perfect, but they are as close to perfect as a human could get at their specific job.
Not perfect, but damn good.
Yeah. But again, that's the thing. I like that analogy, Steven. We are in a world where everything has to be perfect. I mean, look at the NFL. I mean, it seems like every year they go through all sorts of different rule changes to figure out some of these close calls. I mean, they got the little chip now on the ball that could track whether or not the ball actually made it over the first down line or not now because Josh Allen got stopped, 10th of an inch short of a first down in the AFC title game. NFL is so obsessed with making it perfect. Major League Baseball, as I said, it is a game built on failure. It is a game where it's fickle. You are meant to struggle at it. You are meant to lose at times. It's an imperfect game. It's always meant to be an imperfect game. And all these rule changes getting away from it, it takes away from what I think baseball's supposed to be about.
Yeah, so here's what I would say about Major League Baseball, because I'm with you. I don't like video replay across the board. And I know that sounds like get off my lawn sort of mentality, but the reason why I said it's entertaining is because, and why I think the adjustment to ABS and Major League Baseball got it right is because there is sort of this, let's look at the scoreboard, and the crowd feels as though they're into it. Unlike that of, say, the NBA, which is trying to be perfect, but biting off their nose to spite your face, whatever the phrase is.
Yeah.
You sit around and you wait for an inconsequential call, and you forget about what we're here for, which is entertainment, and you've disrupted all of the flow, all of the momentum, which makes this, at the end of the day, a bad product, and to the NFL to a certain degree. So I would make a distinction when it comes to the MLB and why I emphasize the entertainment word, because I do think that from a crowd perspective, it sort of works.
Yeah, and again, I do agree with you, Dan, and that's why, like, the two challenges a game, I could roll with that. But the problem is I know it's not going to stop with that. Like, it's not going to just stop with where we're at with ABS. ABS is phase one. Phase two is every pitch is ABS, and the umpire is just standing behind the plate, yelling out what the computer tells them to yell out.
You won't even need a home plate umpire.
And then phase three is all the umpires are gone. And this is something I think Major League Baseball has been trying to slowly build up to for a very, very long time. And you ask why umpires are cantankerous. That's why, because they know that this thing is coming for them, and this thing being the end of their careers, and it's being brought about by Major League Baseball. And I would be cantankerous too if I was in their shoes. So, yeah, anyway, that's where I'm at with ABS.
Yeah, no, and I think it's part of the, this is unrelated but sort of related in a weird way. I had this conversation with this kid who goes to Stanford University, and she's a star soccer player. I'm in these things called microdramas when we want to do a feature on her. And she's a kid at Stanford, mind you, living in a dorm on the campus. Granted, she already finished her undergrad. And she's doing this startup where she's already been funded. And she's looking to replace agents because she's a star soccer player who's going to be playing in the league sooner rather than later. And essentially, she has this AI sort of app or platform where if you're a star player, you can circumvent agents and obviously a percentage and all the fees that they take. And it's just fascinating where AI has gone as far as replacing you and I. I mean, it's on a serious trajectory, my man.
Unfortunately so, but hey, as long as they don't take over the world and destroy us all. Oh, wait, they are going to do that.
I'm not leaving.
I wish we had that choice. Who hopefully won't be leaving for a while is Bryce Eldridge. He got called up this week, and you think that would have been a bigger story this week, Dan. But again, we're 2 hours and 15 minutes, 16 minutes, 17 minutes actually now into this show. We're just now getting to Bryce Eldridge, partly because of Patrick Bailey, probably because I feel like a lot else has happened with this week with the Giants in terms of the message that Buster's Posey sending. We barely even talked about Tony Vitello. Here's Buster Posey on Giants Talk Podcast talking about the calling up of Bryce Eldridge.
I think it's a little bit of both. Sure. First and foremost, it was watching his at-bats and watching him continue to really play good baseball. I mean, talk about the offense, but I think what I've been most impressed about with him, watching closely the last year and a half, is how hard he's worked his defense. Not necessarily, we'll see how much defensive time that he gets out there, but put up some good numbers in AAA, and hopefully, again, one of those guys that can be productive and kind of give us a boost offensively.
So I think the number one thing about Bryce Eldridge, and Dave Fleming has said this when we've had him on the show, is they didn't want him to come up and be the savior. I don't feel like that's what he's being brought up to be, but I do feel like they brought him up to kind of ignite a little bit of a spark and just kind of put a little bit of urgency on this team. Like, hey, there's another guy here who's looking to get some playing time. We're going to get him some playing time, and he could get it at your expense if you guys aren't playing enough, you guys being the veterans on this team. And, you're seeing Rafi Devers go on a hot streak here, so that's going to keep Bryce Eldridge, at bay a little bit. But you are kind of seeing, the future starting to matriculate up to this Giants team.
Do you know who Willie Totten is, if you've ever heard that name? He was the quarterback that the 49ers went to go scout when they found Jerry Rice.
Oh, really?
They went to go see this guy, Willie Totten, and they're like, who's this dude he's throwing to? Mississippi Valley State, Jerry Rice. And I say that because I'm wondering if it's, as much as we talk about Bryce Eldridge, if this isn't going to be looked back on in time as, oh, that's when you brought up Jesus Rodriguez, because to your point, yeah, I didn't really think about Bryce Eldridge this past week, but I did think about Jesus Rodriguez.
Well, because Jesus Rodriguez has been doing stuff at the plate. Eldridge, I think, is 1 for 11 or something to start off. Like, it's not been great so far for him.
He struck out close to 40% of the time in the minors.
I know. That's a lot. Who was the guy on the Reds, Sal Stewart, the guy who just hit all the home runs against the Giants when they were in Cincinnati. He had a similar strikeout rate as well when he was in the minor leagues, albeit with a larger sample size. To me, I think there just gets to a point where it's just like strikeouts are such a part of the game. And he was also leading, Bryce Eldridge, that is, I believe he was leading the River Cats in walks as well. And he was still hitting above 300. And obviously we all know about the power there. So it's kind of like with Patrick Bailey. You'll take the defense if the bat is good enough. With Bryce Eldridge, you'll accept the strikeouts if everything else is good enough. And from what it sounds like in AAA, everything else was good enough to where you'll just kind of accept the strikeouts and hope that he can figure out a way to lower that a little bit. But again, if you strike out a lot in AAA, chances are you're going to strike out a lot at the big league level too.
And I think it's also lending to the fact that you got to be patient. As a perfect example of this, the guy who's now playing center field for the Pittsburgh Pirates, O'Neal Cruz. He would strike out, or so it appeared, every other at bat when he first came up. And then I'm watching him last night. He's a different player. Like, he's just a little bit more judicious. You could see the maturity with this guy, right? And he has all the raw, natural athleticism. The dude, 6'7", was playing shortstop. I'm like, are you kidding me? But you can see that with these young players who have all the numbers and all the potential, that you still have to exert some patience before they understand what it is that they're doing at the plate, especially when it comes to strikeouts. And that might be applicable to our man Eldridge.
I mean, I think if you want to go more close to home on that example, I think you can look at Casey Schmidt. He's a guy who was chasing.
When he came up?
He was chasing everything when he was out there. I'm trying to find O'Neal Cruz's strikeout rate throughout his career. Here it is. So, but yeah, Casey Schmidt, when he first came up, that low and away pitch, that was his bugaboo. The nicknames I saw was Chasey Schmidt, which is a very unfortunate nickname. He looked like barely a replacement player at times over the last few years. And now all of a sudden it's all clicked. And I think Casey Schmidt has absolutely been a lesson in developmental patience. And that's why, now that Bryce Eldridge is up, this team is still 8 games below 500, Dan. A playoff spot is not on the list of things they should be talking about right now. We're just getting back to 500 right now should be the top goal. And that could take the rest of the first half if they're lucky, if we're being real here. One win last night does not change that. So with that being said, you have no excuse not to be getting Bryce Eldridge in the lineup every day right now. Let this kid get in there and get his work in, whether it's at DH, whether it's at first base. It's not going to be anywhere else. He's not going into the outfield. I know there's that one day in spring training where he took balls in left field and everyone freaked out about it. That was a nothing thing. He's going to be the first baseman or the DH. He needs to be in the lineup every day. Let him work through these mistakes because there's nothing left for him to do at the AAA level at this point. And I don't want to see him yo-yoed up and down like Brandon Belt was in his rookie year. keep Bryce in the lineup, let him learn, let him cook, and let's be patient with this and let him develop into the hitter that we all think he's going to be.
If you need to get Casey Schmidt at bats, would you move him to the outfield?
I don't need to answer that question, Dan, because I think they're already doing that. Casey, I didn't get there in time to see it, but Risotto saw Casey taking some balls in the outfield yesterday. Right, Steven?
He was taking fly balls in, drumroll please, right field.
Really?
He was taking fly balls in right field. They had the machine that they were putting the balls through, and there was one ball that was out there that he was going back to the wall, and then he backed up a little bit to try and play the carom, and the ball landed on the warning track. So,
good luck.
So, we'll see how that goes there with that one. I'll give Joe Shasky this. He was the first one on it. He was the first one on these airwaves to say, try Casey Schmidt in the outfield. Let's see what happens. And I was just like, would they do that? I don't know. That seems a little bit crazy. He's never played out there before.
Why right field, though? I
mean, right field, left field. I guess you do right field because, in theory, less balls go out to right field because there's less left-handers in baseball. And less left-handers in baseball, less balls out to right field. I mean, Dan, you know how Little League works. The worst fielder is always in right field. That's why I played right field a lot.
Well, it's just such a difficult position at Oracle for a guy who's never played it before, you know?
But we talked about the O'Neill Cruz strikeout rates. 34% in his first full big league season, in his 2022 season. 2023, that went down to 20%, albeit in only 40 plate appearances. He was injured a lot that year. Then 30%, 32%, 33% over the last 3 years. So he's still kept consistent around that low 30s range, which that's where Bryce Eldridge has been at.
Yeah.
So it's, let Bryce cook. Let's see what he can do.
If you brought him up here, he's got to play. That's the only reason you brought him up here.
Yeah.
He's not here to sit. So, again, this is going to be interesting to see how they juggle this thing because you got two guys now. You got Schmidt and you got Eldridge who have to play every day.
Yep. And
would you agree that there's three guys that got to play every day and everybody else to me is expendable?
Arias is the third one, right?
Arias, Casey Schmidt.
Luis Arias, just thank you.
Bryce Eldridge.
Thank you so much, Luis Arias. You are just such a perfect breath of fresh air. Like, as I say every day with Luis Arias, like 10-10, no notes, you're perfect. And there was Luis Arias, he created a bit of a division in this station, Dan. When he was signed, there was a very strong camp of, yes, we got Arias. And there were some rebels at this station, led by Mark Grandy. Mark Grandy, I bite my thumb at you for this one. He was very anti-Luis Arias. Evan Giddings was very anti-Luis Arias, if I'm not mistaken. And there was a third person, I forget who it was. It's neither here nor there who that third person was that was against Luis Arias. Wonder who could that possibly have been, Steven Risotto.
Dibley?
What did I do wrong?
All right, peace, John Sterling.
I didn't do anything wrong. I was on that train, though, but I will admit when I'm wrong, and I will eat my words on that. He has improved a lot defensively. I would have rather seen Schmidt. That was my whole point, but he's gotten me to eat my words.
Defensively, I don't think anyone saw this coming. This is why, Dan. I mean, everyone will say Luis Arias has been the best offseason acquisition for the Giants. I would push back and say that Ron Washington has been the best offseason acquisition for the Giants because the work that he has put in with Luis, I see it all the time. Like, Wash could turn anybody into a Gold Glover, and he's turning Luis Arias into an incredibly great defensive second baseman. So
I thought we had to get to a break.
No, we do have to get to a break here. I thought I was give you one last line here. Let's go to the break anyway. Mitch, I see you. We'll get you on the other side. We'll wrap up the show here with some other Giants talk and all that fun stuff. All that brought to you by Fairmont Bank, here for you, here for good.
What's poppin'?
Hey, it's Willard and Dibs for Safeway. Safeway is celebrating 100 years. Enjoy these amazing deals for members. And as always, save up to 20% weekly on hundreds of exclusive offers from Safeway. Just clip the highlighted deals from the weekly mailer or click the deals in the For You section of the Safeway app to breeze through checkout. Rice Aroni, 4.3 to 7.2 ounce selected variety boxes, just 59 cents each. Now you can sing.
Hey, mix and match. Mark 1 pound strawberries or 6 ounce blueberries. Buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two. And mix and match Foster Farm, Simply Raised, boneless, skinless, chicken breasts, thin sliced or tenders. Buy one, get one free of equal or lesser value when you buy two.
Well done. All right, these and other great deals are available in the weekly mailer and the For You section on the Safeway app. Go to Safeway.com for more details. and we will see you in the aisles.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
In the market for a new mattress but overwhelmed by all the options? At Mattress Firm, we make it easy. Just drop in, answer a few questions, and our sleep experts will guide you to your perfect mattress. And with options for every budget and free and fast delivery, it's no wonder more shoppers choose Mattress Firm than any other mattress specialty retailer. And now through Monday, save up to 60% on Sealy. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Discover Silverado Resort, Napa Valley's playground for those who love to stay, play, and recharge. Tee it up with 36 holes of championship golf, rally on the tennis and pickleball courts, or train like a pro in the newly renovated fitness center. Restore in the refreshed spa and recovery lounge, and refuel at the soon-to-open Match Play kitchen and bar. With newly renovated rooms, it's the ultimate escape. If it's been years since your last visit, rediscover Silverado Resort, a renewed Napa Valley original. Book your staycation today. Visit silveradoresort.com.
Bank of America is the official bank of FIFA World Cup 2026. Helping people achieve their goals is what we do. So if your goal is owning a home, we're here to help with guidance and resources, including up to $17,500 in select markets when combining down payment and closing cost grants. Visit BofA.com/home team. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America N.A. Equal Housing Lender. Credit and collateral is subject to approval. Restrictions apply. This is not a commitment to lend.
Big matches, big moments, big rewards. This May, donate blood with Stanford Blood Center and score 2 free soccer tickets to a San Jose Earthquakes match. Guaranteed. Plus, you could win the ultimate VIP soccer match. 4 sideline seats to a world global game. Plus premium food and drinks and exclusive access to live entertainment. Don't miss your shot. Give blood. Get rewarded. Make an impact. Visit StanfordBloodCenter.org today.
The month of May is AAPI Heritage Month. That's Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. If you're wondering how you can participate in the festivities, visit APASF.org for access to San Francisco's AAPI Heritage Month celebration guide. There are over 100 cultural events, including art exhibits, movies, book talks, music, comedy shows, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Check out the celebration guide at APASF.org. That's APASF.org.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
Now back to the best Giants talk in the Bay. The Orange and Black Weekend Wrap on 95.7 The Game.
We are back on the Orange and Black Weekend Wrap. Sam Ullman alongside Dan Devone for another 25-ish minutes here before we close out. Giants game 2 against the Pirates tonight. 6:05 first pitch, trying to fight off a little bit of phlegm here in the throat here. There's been some going around the station the last couple weeks, Dan. I don't know if you know that.
Keep the phlegm away from the kahuna.
I'm trying to.
Thank you, John.
There we go. Today's matchup, we got Landon Roop on the hill for the Giants. He has been one of the big bright spots here throughout the season to start things off. He's 5-2 with a 3.18 ERA. He's going against Braxton Ashcraft of the Pittsburgh Pirates, 102 with a 3.02 ERA, 45 strikeouts on the season so far. So Pirates, a lot better of a team than we're used to seeing them. They're 21-18 and a very good NL Central. So Giants have a chance to take the series today, Dan. Again, it's 8 games below 500. Playoffs not on the horizon right now. Just get back to 500. But if they are going to get there, Dan, just start stacking series wins. That's all you can do. And they're in a brutal stretch of games, right? I mean, they've been in a brutal stretch, it seems like, all season so far. But they're in a brutal stretch right now with this series. And LA and Sacramento and Arizona on the next road trip. Come home and take on the White Sox and the Diamondbacks again. And then you got to go to Colorado for 3, which the Rockies are still the Rockies, but Coors Field is still Coors Field. And then you got the series that the road trip that I'm worried the most about is the 4 games in Milwaukee and then the 3 games in Chicago right after that. That just seems like it's going to be a very, very long week. That's going to be the first week of June. Not looking forward to that one at all.
Cubs are good. Cubs are really good baseball team this year. So I think you're right. Just win series. We've been here before, but you're just looking for a glimmer of hope. And I think last night may have provided that. It's not only that they won, but 2 of your big stars that we have been hammering on for over a month now looked good.
Yeah.
And Willie Adames and Rafi Devers is actually looked good for a while. And they always say when you see Devers going to right field, as he has been, and is hitting power to right field, that's a good indicator. And then he went to center field last night.
He's been left field involved as well. Like, the thing with Rafi, and this is going to be a thing with everybody, it's can we get the walk rate up? All these guys. And Buster was asked about that on the Giants Talk podcast earlier this week.
Well, when you're missing pitches in the heart of the plate, I think it's going to go hand in hand with the walk rate being down. If a staff's not fearing you and not fearful of missing in the heart of the plate, I think naturally walk rates are going to be lower.
I think you kind of saw a little bit of a shift last night in that first at-bat. He cranks that fastball from Machinsky out into center field, which, I mean, barely got out. It was a cold night last night. The marine layer was marine layering hard last night at Oracle Park. And that ball got out. Again, it was a fastball right in the heart of the plate, a little up and to the left, but right in that heart of the zone that Rafi struggled with. And I said earlier in the show, Dan, Rafi did not have a hit off of a 2-seam sinking fastball in that part of the zone at any point this season until that home run last night. And Risotto, we're watching his at-bats the rest of the night. I don't think he got a pitch over the middle of the plate the rest of the night. So
the only thing is, and maybe this depends on how you look at it, he got that and his other hit were on 0-2 counts, or he was behind in the count. And so I want to say he was behind 0-2 when he went deep. Might have been 1-2. That's exactly what it is that we're talking about here. Is that I don't want to sound like Joe Baseball, because obviously I've never played at the major league level, but when you're talking about being in front of the count as opposed to being behind the count, it's the difference between everything and nothing. Like if you're ahead of the count 2-0, 2-1, I mean, statistically, obviously this has been proven because now you can wait for something that is sort of in your hitting zone. And that's where they have to get to, where they're not being so aggressive because they've been so bad offensively, but exert some patience. And seeing pitches benefits everybody, you know? When you see pitches and you're in the dugout, you're on the on-deck circle, you just, you have a better understanding of what it is that a pitcher's trying to do. But hitting in front of a count as opposed to behind the count, I want to say it was Cuckoo Gilbert was the only guy who went 3-0 the entire game.
Yeah.
And he didn't walk.
No, it's the amount of 3-0 counts that don't end in walks has been insane for this team. And you mentioned also you see more pitches. You also wear the pitchers down. You wear the starters down. There's been this team, Dan, I think they're in the bottom 3 or 4 of pitches seen this year. Now, another team that's in the bottom 3 is the Toronto Blue Jays, but they also hit the ball. The Giants haven't been hitting the ball, and I think there is a pattern there in that the Giants hitting coach is Hunter Mentz, who was a assistant hitting coach with Toronto last year. Toronto, a very contact-heavy, aggressive approach. I do theorize that the Giants are trying to adopt a similar hitting approach that Toronto has used in the last year or two. The problem is they're just not executing on it correctly. That's my theory on that one.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned hitting coaches. Remember this time last year we were doing shows, Pat Burrell. It
was all Pat Burrell's fault, yep.
I'm just, Pat
Burrell did have a point.
And there's a lot of guys that are having last laughs with the San Francisco Giants, whether it's managers, and or executives, whether it's right or wrong, and they'll never do this publicly, but you can't tell me Gabe Kapler, Farhan, Bob Melvin aren't laughing their asses off. Like, it wasn't us.
No, it's unfortunate. It goes something far deeper, the Giants' issues, and it's not going to just be switched. But at the same time, though, they weren't the answer either. Like, Farhan did not create the greatest situation here. I mean, his best draft pick during his time with the Giants just got traded this morning. Like, that's where we're at. I mean, we'll see what Bryce Eldridge becomes, but...
don't you get a feel, though, with this team, and it's so bad, but you're in the clubhouse. I just like the way this team is wired. Like, I like all these dudes. I like it. There just seems to be, and I'm a big, if you get the locker room right, it translates to the field. That's not the case this year, but it just seems as though this is a team, starting with Willie Adames, that these dudes all actually like each other. Not everybody's
they absolutely
like each
do.
other.
In fact, I asked Logan about this yesterday when I had a chance to catch up with them. It's like, how are you guys staying loose during this time? Because it's very easy to tense up when things are not going well. When you tense up, that just makes things harder. We had a World Series champion, Jeremy Effelt, on the morning roast earlier this week, and we asked him about that. And he's like, don't have team meetings. Keep it loose, keep it fun, go out to dinner on the road, stuff like that. So I asked Logan last night, are you guys keeping it loose right now?
I think you rely on the guys that you have in there. I don't think you can go in our clubhouse and you probably think we're just fine. We just got to play more loose during the games. I think that's a big one. We brought Tony in to bring some energy, and he's trying his best to get us to start doing that. And I think we just got to really buy into that and go for that. And we've had spurts where we look pretty good, and then we lose 6 straight or something, whatever it was. We just got to be better about that.
So yeah, I think staying loose is not a problem with this team. These guys do very much enjoy each other. I remember last year we were doing a post game with Verlander. And Andrew Baggerly asked Verlander, are you having fun this year? And because Verlander was not having fun on the field. And he was like, off the field, in the clubhouse, is a great group of guys. Love hanging out with these guys. On the field, no. And I think that's kind of been the theme of the Giants this decade, really. Great clubhouses, on-field performance, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder maybe they do need a jerk or two on this team to kind of add a little extra spark. Who's going to add a little extra spark to this show right now, Dan? It's Mitch in New Jersey. We know Mitch always has good Giants takes. Mitch, how are you doing today, man? You're on the wrap.
What's popping? Hey, what's popping? Sam, Dan, nice to talk to you guys. Steve also. So you're back in the South. You're working 6 days a week. Good for you, Sam.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Geez, I thought they'd get a hitter that would be 270 pounds. I mean, we didn't even get a lottery pick for Bailey. Is that amazing? Can we confirm to be a hitter?
That might be the all-time line. I thought we'd get a hitter for 270 pounds.
I thought we'd get an offensive lineman for 270 pounds being real.
That's awesome.
Well, that's kind of light. They get pushed around.
I guess maybe a defensive end, an edge rusher, the edge rusher the Niners been looking for.
Now they call defense ends edge. Like small forwards now a wing now. We didn't do much in the offseason, really. Lewis, our batting cleanup. Araz, did I say his name? There he is. That's
one of those was correct.
What's popping? Yeah, what's cracking? I mean, we're sinking already. The season's a quarter over, and we can't get any power. It's just our luck. All the powers that we came close, and I'm assuming they tried this offseason to get a couple the names escaping, but of course the Giants were in it. They couldn't. I like to think they were close with my boy Josh Naylor and Bo Bichette. So close yet so far. Maybe the Giants can call the Mets because their season's over too. I think their season's over. That is fun. He added 4 guys to the guy from Oakland. They had 4 hitters to the lineup, and only they let go of Alonso, which I like to think we try to make a run with him. We know it's in dollars, not in pesos out on the West Coast, right? Well, why is it the Giants are not getting the big hitters, free agency? I'm just curious.
But they have.
I think a part of it, Mitch, is
right?
a lot of big hitters just don't want to hit here still. There's still a perception here.
I think Devers.
Come on.
Well, Devers was a trade. Adames was a signing, but I don't know if Adames is in that big slugger category.
He was
right,
coming out of Milwaukee.
It's a beautiful ballpark. But one more thing. What about Texas looking to dump salary? Corey Seager? Adams can move over to either third or short or second. Excuse me.
Well, then where's Arias
Corey
play?
can play outfield too. So something to think about. Make a phone call, Sam. All right, that's all you got to do.
All right,
thanks for talking to me, guys.
Appreciate it, Mitch.
Make that phone call, Dan. All right, have a nice one.
All right, Dan. Either you or me, we got to.
We're gonna have those two on a call together.
Oh, that would be so much fun to get Richie and Mitch together.
Everybody's terrible.
What's popping?
I can't tell which one's which. Was that both Mitch or was that one Richie, one Mitch?
What's popping?
Blue Baker? Everybody's terrible.
That's a rap song. We got to put that to some music.
You got an incredible board, Steven Risotto. I am very impressed. You know what I was really impressed with, Dan, here is we're going to close out the show with a bunch of nonsense.
Wait, but can I just say something?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, then we'll go to nonsense.
Yeah, just on a serious note, like the Corey Seager things, you can't do that. We know that, right? You can't do that because Chapman and his contract, Adames and his contract, and Devers and his contract. There is no moving these guys.
I know.
So there's a lot. I know we want to have fun at Mitch's expense, but we have to sort of, this is where we're at with these guys. So the only thing that can happen from this point forward in terms of how do we get out of this, they've got to figure it out and hit the damn baseball.
No, I've said this. This is a conversation I've had with Shasky a couple times too on the morning roast where he just wants to pivot off of these guys and eat as much money as possible from it. And I don't think the Giants are there yet. I don't think they're at a point where they're going to eat half of however much is left of Willie Adames' contract. I don't think they're going to want to eat half the $270 million they still owe to Rafi Devers. Like, I don't think we're there yet. And so the unfortunate situation is they're kind of backed into a corner here of Buster Posey's making. He made these deals, and the only solution that this only gets fixed from the inside. That's it. As I said at one point, like, so many things could get taken care of if Willie Adames is just good at baseball again. So many problems would be solved for this team if Rafi Devers can just keep swinging the bat like he has over the last week. If Matt Chapman can just stay consistent on defense. If Elliot Ramos can stay consistent by, only swing at pitches in the strike zone. If Jung Hoo Lee can be consistent about using all sides of the field, not just being that dead pull hitter. If Luis Arias could stay being Luis Arias throughout the rest of the year. It solves a lot of problems. It feels like it's a big ask.
And the other reason why you can't move off of anybody right now is because of market value, which is why I was surprised that they unloaded Bailey, because now you're just getting pennies on the dollar. Like, if you want to in the future get off of Adames and Devers and Chapman, you got to wait for them to hit.
Well, the value is that you don't have them on the team anymore. And that's the worst kind of way to get, like, the addition by subtraction is not good value. And honestly, Dan, like, you're not going to be able to just trade Adames. Like, you're going to be trading Adames and Robbie Ray to Team X, and you're going to get a prospect back who you're never going to see in the big leagues.
You're getting lowballed.
Yeah. Again, like I said, it's the value you're getting back is the fact that you're not going to have them on the roster. And that's the worst kind of value, because what's going to end up happening, you'll trade Willie Adames and Robbie Ray to like the Twins or something. The Twins will release Willie Adames at some point. He'll end up on the Dodgers, and then he'll help them win the World Series. That's probably how that plays out, because we live in the worst timeline. Maybe not really, but it's still too early, I think, to start pivoting off of these guys. Like,
way too early.
They got to figure it out.
I'll be plotting my revenge.
Exactly. Speaking of Tony Vitello, he did drop this gem on us in the postgame last night.
Maybe we get on the other side of the first month or distance ourselves from the first month of the season. It provides confidence that we got some scar tissue to us and we know what it looks like when it really gets tough. And I don't know, Shawshank's a pretty good movie. Sometimes you got to, Andy Dufresne had to swim through a lot of poo to come out on the other side and see the sunshine. So maybe that's us. All right, let's just say this.
Hell yeah. I cracked up.
I'm still learning this guy's personality.
I cracked up when he dropped that line last night. It was just, our Matt Chisholm, the Giants PR director, he was smiling from it. Every now and then, Tony just says something that just makes you smile.
Dan, you know what he says about Robbie Ray, right?
What's that?
The ultimate grunt master out there.
I mean, we just need a little bit more of this, because I think everybody just sort of wants to know who he is. And if
you listen to the morning roast from about 6:30 to 6:42, you get to hear what do you say? What do you hear? What do you say?
Yeah, that's not going to happen. It's too early.
Well, you're in New York, aren't you? Don't you live in New York?
I can catch it when I'm in New York.
There you go. Or you can go back and hit the rewind link on the free Odyssey app, which we should probably promote more throughout the show since we're employees here at Odyssey. But I don't know. He dropped that line last night, and afterwards, there's a little silence in the media room because he's waiting for another question. And I'm just sitting there just like loving that line. I'm just like, hell yeah. And I think he kind of heard me a little bit. He looks over and then he kind of gets up to get out of there. But it was just too funny of a line. I enjoyed that.
You know
a lot
what you got to do next time? You just got to follow up and say, what's your favorite movie? Do you like Shawshank? Where are you at? What genre do you? Because that
might be a good pregame question.
Well, yeah,
maybe not today because there's a lot of other stuff to talk about.
But I'm just saying, like, I would like a window as to who this dude is. Like, opposed to, we know we're learning how he is as a manager, but I'm just sort of curious as to what's going on with him.
I mean, the word out of Tennessee when he was hired is he's a guy who says things. And, I mean, we've kind of seen at the beginning of the year, I mean, that first week, that first night even, we talked about, maybe I brought a little too much fire and brimstone, and that kind of had guys overamped. A lot of people kind of scratched their heads at that one. It's like, Tony, why are you saying that? We had, I think it was Chris Rose, we had him on the morning roast, and Chris Rose called Mark DeRosa syndrome, where you keep saying too much.
Like, hello.
I will say, though, with Tony, and this is one thing I'm kind of interesting to see throughout the year, because I've always stated, Dan, that I think the biggest goal this year, playoffs, obviously, yes, but I think the more importantly, though, it's just I want Tony Vitello to be comfortable managing this team. Like, I want him to feel like he truly is a big league manager, because it is a big jump going from the college level to the big league level. And I'm curious to see how his media sessions are like as the year progresses.
Oh, they'll get better.
The first like couple weeks, they were really, really long because he would go on and on and on about some of his post-game thoughts. So much so that we would get into the clubhouse afterwards and a bunch of the players were gone. And some of the writers were kind of, irritated. Like, we can't ask him so many questions because we got to get there to talk to the players, which I understand that. I'm doing the voice, but I do understand that logic. His pressers are getting shorter post-game. His answers are getting a little bit more concise, and his answers are still very entertaining. So I'm curious to see how he evolves in dealing with the media throughout the year.
You bring up an interesting point, because I thought about creating like a consulting team, because you would think that that's something that Buster Posey or the 49ers, when they rolled out Tom Sula, and remember his first press conference?
No, it was the worst ever.
But do they not understand that half of this is PR? That so much of this is like being a politician, that you just have to convince people that you know what it is that you're talking about, even though you may not. And I'm surprised that they don't send them to some sort of, like they could do mock rehearsals or make sure before they roll these guys out that it's something that's addressed. And I'm surprised that Buster Posey's like, look, I know this sounds a little secondary and the last thing you need to worry about, but it's important because so much is gleamed from these little sound bites that for the majority of us that don't know these guys, we just hear what it is that we say.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, they do. Again, Matt Chisholm, the Giants PR department, they do an incredible job managing things between the team and the media. I believe that is part of their job right, Steven?
There is a consultant. I don't know if she would want her name out there, but there is a consultant that does help with PR training.
Is she
players. Separate
from, is she part of the Giants PR staff, or is she separate from them?
Kind of part of it. I'll say the name after. You might recognize the name, but she works for the team.
She wrote a few of the books about clubhouse culture, right?
That's right.
No, it was Joan Ryan.
Joan Ryan.
Yeah, we've had her on the station a couple times. I think you've actually interviewed her once or twice. We had you on with Codes at one point in the past. So.
Is she married to Barry Tompkins?
I have no idea.
Okay, so I think, but are we talking about the same thing where you have, Tony Vitello, once we hired Tony Vitello, you got to come in for this 3-week training course, and we're going to do mock press conferences where we're the media and you're Tony Vitello, and we're going to ask you difficult questions and do this, say this. To your point, let's use a little more brevity. I mean, is it hands-on like that?
They do something like that because she is an ex-reporter herself, and she's kind of a trailblazer in the female sports reporter world. So they did do that.
Yeah, and she's very good at what she does. She's a very intelligent woman. So again, this is all to say they do have people to work with him. But again, I don't think you're become perfectly big league media savvy overnight. There's going to be growing pains, and you don't want to rein his personality in too much. That's part of the sell on him is the energy that he brings. They say, let Tony V be Tony V. So that's why I'm kind of curious. Like the first weekend, anything he said that first weekend, I'm curious how that's going to sound compared to come September, the answers that he has as he gets more and more comfortable with the big league media. Because, the SEC is the SEC, but, in college, I don't know how much college baseball and the SEC media attention they get, but you're probably not getting as much consistent media presence every day at the SEC level as you are at the big league level. And also, you're getting 60 games a year that you have to talk versus 162 games a year that you have to talk. So it's an adjustment there. And like, Tony's going to have mistakes that he makes throughout the year. He's going to have mistakes that he does in a presser. It's going to happen. People are going to overreact to it. As long as he's just getting more and more comfortable, I don't care about that stuff. Go through the growing pains. You have to. You're a rookiest of rookie managers. Like, this idea that he was going to jump in and be Bruce Bochy 2.0, that was never going to be the case. Could he get there eventually? Sure. But it's not going to happen immediately. So that's why, like, when I'm pointing fingers about what went wrong with this team right now, I'm pointing to a lot of things before I point to Tony. I think he's done a very, very good job so far.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this, as I mentioned, it's not so much the players could care less about what he's saying in a press conference. It's sort of like for us, the unwashed masses, if you will. And it's not even really what they're saying, because essentially they always say the same thing, right? It's not going to be, occasionally you're going to have somebody that's going to go nuts, like Hal McRae and your family member there back in the day. But typically these things are pretty safe and everybody says the same thing. It's how do you comport yourself? Like, when we see you, do I feel confident? It's just like somebody you vote for. Like, I don't even know what you're saying. You sound like every other politician, but are you articulate? Is there a sense of confidence that when I see you, that you sort of exude a personality that I feel comfortable? Exactly.
I was talking to Matt Gage about this in spring training and asked him kind of, compare Bob Melvin versus Tony Vitello. And Bob had such an illustrious resume in this game that you had to respect him. And that played a part in last year. Whereas Tony, it was just, when he came in, Matt described it as like you snap to attention when he comes in the room, because that's the energy that he brings. That's what I kind of want to see more and more throughout the year, where when he walks in the room, the players just respond. I do think you're seeing that, and I feel very confident that he'll have no problem keeping this team kind of falling in behind him and supporting him. I think he is bringing the right energy here. Just the results aren't there. And I think if this team does somehow rally above 500 and is good in the second half, we're going to see an even more fun version of Tony V, because part of what made him so much fun in Tennessee was how he was when he was winning. And it's hard for Tony V to be Tony V when Tony V is losing. That's not it. So we got to get this guy a winning team, and then I feel like we can unlock the real Tony Vitello.
It's interesting that I'm surprised. I thought maybe there would be a little more knives out for the Giants manager.
I think Giants fans are kind of, if you didn't like the hire to begin with, then yeah, your opinion's probably going to be maybe you wanted someone more established. But I think a lot of Giants fans understand that the issues go far beyond anything he could do.
Yeah.
Exactly, Jan. Like, Tony can't make Willie Adames lay off those low and away pitches.
God, are you kidding me?
Exactly. He can't make Rafi Devers, hit fastballs down the middle. He can't make Ryan Walker, not miss bats.
I know we don't have a lot of time, but is he still the closer?
I think it's
who closes today.
I want Joel Peguero to be the closer. The guy throws gas as long as it's accurate. He's your guy. Really quick, it is Mother's Day tomorrow. Do you have a special baseball memory with Mom, Dan?
You know what? Not really. My mom's not a sports fan. I love her to death, but no sports with my mom. But I'll let you take it away.
Well, I'll risotto. What about you?
She was the loudest one at all of my games. She made it a point to come to every single Little League and high school game. And my teammates would always say, "Is that your mom screaming?" That's my mom screaming. That's so awesome. I would do anything to go back to those days.
Yeah, my mom and I, we actually went down to the 2010 All-Star Game in Anaheim together. We went to the Fan Fest that day, and we met some guy there at the game, and the guy's like, "Hey, do you want tickets to the game?" And we're like,
"What's poppin'?"
"What's sure?" And so he gave us tickets to the game. We ended up getting tickets in the outfield, and we were only going to do the Fan Fest. We ended up doing the game, too, so that was an incredible day. Mother's Day 2 years ago, though, I went to the ballpark. I took her for a game, and we've done lots of Giants games for Mother's Day. We're not doing that this year, though. But we were sitting in the third deck. Tyler Fitzgerald's up, and he hits a foul ball right at us. It's coming more at her than at me. I stick my glove out, snag it on the fly. It's the first foul ball I've ever caught on the fly. And Tyler Fitzgerald was cool enough later on to even sign it for her, because I said, "Hey, this was on Mother's Day. It caught the ball from you, blah, blah, blah." And he's like, "Yeah, we'll break protocol here because you're not supposed to ask players for autographs." But I figured if it's for Mom, you can.
You miss Fitzy. You liked him.
He was a good guy.
Yeah.
Hey, well, he's a Dodger now, so I don't know about that. But no, I like Fitzy a lot. And that moment there made me a big Tyler Fitzgerald fan. And
he's an Italian.
He was that, and he was a very
he's not. He's an Irishman.
He was a very hardworking player too. He's a guy. Every time I saw him, he was always sweating because that's the kind of work that he put in out on the field. Very hardworking guy. Deserves success in baseball. I hope he finds it. This is a great first episode of the Weekend Wrap here, Dan. Man. We'll be here hopefully as deep into the baseball season as they let us. But Giants, Pirates, later today at 6:05. It's been the Weekend Wrap. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Steven. You know how we end this. Dodgers suck.
What's poppin'?
Blue Baker?
Later, dudes. Let her rip. Hang 10.
All right, I need avocados, bananas, salad, steak.
Wow, does your grocery